Let me start recording. All right, I think. That's it. Hey, peace and black power, everybody. I want to welcome you to another NCRBGZ Productions. With this being said, we got a nice show lined up for the family. First off, let me say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. When we say happy Father's Day, we mean those fathers that's actually taking care of their children. If you're a deadbeat dad, that happy Father's Day is not meant for you. We're only talking about those black men that's actually out here doing the best that they can do for their children, regardless of the circumstances that they may be in, right? And with that being said, we got a nice show lined up for the family today. We want to talk about what's the role of the black man, the role of the black man in the family today. And with that being said, like always, y'all give us a thumbs up. You like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And when we go live, you will be able to see, and also you can join the conversation. Right, with that being said, I want to give my panel members opportunity to unmute their mic and say something to the family. We will have different people coming in throughout the show. We should have a very nice, lively conversation, and we're going to go from there.
Hey, Robert, peace family. This your brother in the back, Kefafere Amonreye. I'm just glad to be a part of the panel. Glad to join in on the discussion, and also just wanted to say out to the fathers out there again, happy Father's Day.
Okay, the rest of the panel members, if you're up here, y'all can unmute y'all mic, introduce yourselves to the family so we can start the conversation. Okay, maybe they're a little bit busy. So we're gonna jump right into this, family. You gotta mute your mic. I think your mic is muted. That's why we can't hear you. For those that's watching on Facebook, y'all give me a second. The computer acting slow, but it's gonna catch up. So it's refreshing, rebuffering, so it will catch up. And if y'all have any questions, please type your questions in, and we will try to respond and answer the questions as soon as possible. Y'all give me a second. I'm working two things at once, so I'm trying to turn the volume down on this. All right, there we go. I think I got it. Oh, that means they ain't gonna be able to hear it though. Hey, do y'all hear that talking? Hey, brother Nabat, do you hear it?
No, we can't hear any audio right now. And you just froze, brother, so you might want to restart.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother. Go ahead.
Man, I had a technical difficulty right then. My computer turned off, so I'm turning my computer back on. But you know, we want to talk about the role of the black man, and you know the role that the black man's supposed to play in the family structure. You know, so last night we had a show and there was some questions that was brought up by some of the sisters on the show. What we wanted to do was to address those questions and move forward, right? So the first thing that we always say, we know that the black man is supposed to be the protector of the house, the protector of the home, the protector of the family, meaning that it's our job as men to protect our family, our household, our wives, our children, and the family in general by all means necessary. So we have a lot of examples of things going on in the world today wherein it seems as if, you know, some of our brothers are selling out for a paycheck, right? Some of our brothers are, you know, watching their children get gunned down, and it seems as if instead of getting retribution, it's more as if they would rather. Um, Give me one quick second. I think I'm back, y'all. I'm
Yeah.
having some. Yes, I need to check something though before. I don't know what's up with my computer today. All right, okay, so but all right, like I was saying, you have a lot of black men that I feel like are selling out, man. Like, yeah, children are being killed, and it seems as if instead of protecting or making sure that something like that will never happen again, they're being very casual or they're content with getting a check and moving forward, right? And I think that we have to get our houses back in order and we have to get our family structure back in order so we can move forward in the right direction. It seems like we're trying to move forward, but a lot of things are hindering us. So with that, I want to give y'all the chance to unmute y'all mic and say something so I can fix all this stuff I got going on because I got a catastrophe going on right now with all this tech stuff.
Hi, Hotep everybody, how are you? I hope everyone's doing well. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. Is this a part 2, Brother Seheru?
Yes, ma'am, it's part 2. It's part 2.
Okay, I'm Natasha. I'm based in the UK, and yeah, I'm just here to learn and also impart onto the topic. I hope everyone's well and keeping safe. So yeah, I will contribute to the conversation. Thank you.
Also, if anybody is on Facebook, please go to NCRBGZ Productions on YouTube because right now Facebook is buffering. I don't know if it's gonna stop. So if you're on Facebook and if you can hear me, go to NCRBGZ Productions on YouTube and you will be able to catch the show live there. So Sister Natasha, from part of the conversation that we was having last night, um, we wanted to expand on that conversation and indulge in and try to come up with some type of solutions, right? Some solutions that we can all use to better the family structure, right? So, one question that was asked, and I want brother on the bot to chime in on this was, one of the sisters was saying that basically that, some men feel a certain way. It was brought to the attention that, some men or some women that may make X amount of money, they're the breadwinners in the house, and if the man doesn't make as much money. So if the woman, let's say the woman is the breadwinner in the house, and the woman brings home the most amount of money. As a man, how do you feel about that? Now, I will be the first one. I'm gonna go ahead and just answer it from my perspective. My perspective, we are a team, so we are a partnership. So if my woman or my wife outmake me as far as the amount of money, I don't have a problem with that, because I look at us as a union. And when you look at each other as a union, we know that we are working together to accomplish a goal. So when we're working together, as far as the amount of money that's one brings home compared to the other one, really isn't a big deal to me, as long as we're able to manage it cohesively as a unit, and it doesn't become a distraction or something wherein it's being put in, being thrown in your face or stuff like that. What do you think about that, Brother Navar?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's pretty much to each his own. I don't think that it should be no one way that we should look at it, because like you said, it's some relationships, the best way that they choose to go about it is teamwork. And so whether both parties have businesses, what I mean, both parties have products that they sell or services that they offer. If they're more successful in that, I don't think that we shouldn't really look at it as a competition. But then on the flip side, I do also understand that uh, primarily it should be the man's responsibility to take care of the home. With that being said, it's not saying that we shouldn't allow women to work or anything like that. So that's why I pretty much say, it's to each its own, depending on the relationship or depending on the two parties and what they think is going to work best in that situation.
Yeah. What do y'all have to say, Natasha or Miss
Okay.
Julie?
I have something to say about it. If you are a woman or a man and you view things in a money way, that's to do with your mindset, right? That's the mindset matter. If you think that because you earn more money than another person, it adds more value to you more than the other person in a relationship or in any setting, that means you have a mindset issue. If you are a person who knows that your partner that you're married to or you live with, is a good human being, and whether you earn more money or less money, it should not make a difference how you feel about them, how they feel about you, and how their behavior is, even if you earn more money than them. Um, I just think that if you're gonna look at things in a way of just money, it doesn't make any sense. What if you earn more money than him, but you are not good with money and you don't know how to invest, and he knows how to invest money? So what is so bad about that? I just think when people start talking about I earn more money than him, so he's somehow lesser than me, it just, that's a mindset issue. That's your own mindset working again. Your own mindset is your own enemy in your own relationship. You might earn a six-figure salary and you don't know how to invest it. What if he knows, with his smaller salary than you, he knows how to invest, knows how to clear debt, knows where to place money? What would be so bad about that? So I think that sometimes these opinions come from women who earn a lot of money, are with terrible men, and then they want to blame all the other men in the world that because they earn less money, somehow they want something from them. No, you are the one picking the wrong partners with your wage packet. That's on you. You are the one picking the wrong men with your own wrong mindset. Don't blame everybody else because you earn more money than this man. You are the one who picked those terrible men that you are trying to pin on other good men who would not have a problem with you earning more money. It's a mindset issue. It's your own mind working against yourself, and it's your own choices working against yourself. There are plenty of people. I live in the UK here, where you will have like a lot of African women who earn like really good money over here. Like, Black women are very educated. Worldwide, we are the most educated people. You will get a situation here where a lady could be earning six figures. A husband might be earning less than her. It doesn't mean he is less of a man. It really doesn't. I think everybody brings certain skills to the table. And if you chose a man with no skills and you just wanted a man because you wanted a man and you have a higher pay packet, that means maybe you want to dominate somebody somewhere, somehow within yourself. So I do think when people say things like that, it shows maybe a low level of vibration within themselves. And stop blaming other men from your own experiences of the men you've chosen. It's not every man who's like that. That's my opinion.
Oh, I love that answer right there. That's right on time. But I actually do agree with you because I understand that the energy you put out is usually the energy. Okay, all right, Julie, you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Hello, sister. I don't know what your name is. Very eloquent, beautiful what you said. Stuart, when you started, you spoke about a man being a protector, and my husband jumped in and he said, "No, no, 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 that's not right." He said, "You have to think about things in a certain order, and love should be first." He won't come on and talk, but he said love should be first, and then everything else falls in place, if I'm making sense. And that with the finances as well, if love is first, everything else should fall in place. That's all I've got to say anyway.
Okay, well, we're glad to hear from you, and I agree. Yeah, love is the beginning of any type of relationship. Without love, you can't be in a relationship. I want to say a prosperous or a good relationship. Love and trust are two things that is very important. That has to be acknowledged and felt by both parties to be very productive. But when I was talking about the protective aspect of the father, I was talking about in the means of as men, we have to protect. And, we have to protect our women. And protection comes in a lot of different areas. It's not just physical protection, it's emotional protection, right? It's spiritual protection in my eyes. So it's just not physical protection. Protection lies down a different range of areas that the male has to be very protective, and that's just in our genes in general. That's just something like women are nurturers, men are protectors. This is just something how we're decoded, right? And I agree exactly with what your husband said. So I don't disagree with it. I agree with him. I also agree with Sister Natasha, because I do believe that the energy you put out is the energy that you receive. So if you're putting out negative energy or negative vibes, usually you're gonna attract people. The people that you attract is usually based off the energy that you're putting out. That's the way I feel. So you get what you're putting out. So I don't know different people cases, and I'm not going to speak on different people situations, but I just feel like the energy you put out is usually how you attract people is based off the energy that you're pushing out, right? So another question about the woman being the breadwinner that I wanted to ask is, and it like, go ahead, baby. You need to try it too. Okay. Now like as far as like in America, a lot of times it's said that you need two incomes to you know to survive in this capitalistic society. A lot of times 2 incomes is better than one. Now, a lot of families can survive off 1 income, but it's always better if you have 2 incomes. So, and what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think 2 incomes is better than one? Or do you think that the women shouldn't work and the man should do all the work and the women should just stay home, and raise the children, right? Is that something, how do y'all feel about that? Should the women just stay home, clean up, cook, raise the children, and don't work, and the man go out and do all the working? These are some of the questions that I wanted to talk about and tackle because, these questions need to be answered because you have a lot of traditional people that believe that women should just cook and stay home and don't do nothing but have babies and raise the children and stay home. How do y'all feel about that? Should the women work? I know in an idealistic world, I think that majority of the women wouldn't work because the man would be out there doing all the providing. So they really wouldn't have to work as far as outside of the home, but maybe working as far as doing stuff when it comes pertaining to taking care of the house, taking care of the family. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I can say from the perspective of our culture, Wusabat, as a Sabian, we're taught, for example, in a Patarak written by our master teacher. Patarak means the way, and it's pretty much dealing with our way of life. This particular one is called the Sabian man. And in verse 31, he actually says that the Nuwapian man supports his family, giving them the best of this world. So that's definitely one of the responsibilities of a man is to definitely prioritize providing for the family. But again, as I noted earlier, it's not to state or say that that women cannot work or women shouldn't work. So as far as the 2 incomes thing, that's not an issue. It's just that we understand that there are definitely responsibilities that the man should live up to. Also, in this same Patriarchy explains that we shouldn't shirk our obligations. So we as men have obligations to do these things as opposed to our women. And that's from our perspective. Again, the sisters may see it differently. And it's not to say, again, this isn't saying that they shouldn't work. It's just that we understand that we as men, we have certain obligations as far as protecting the family and certain things along those lines. So with that being said, the 2 incomes thing is again to each its own and depending on the relationship. But I know if you were to ask me, I would prioritize providing for my family. And if my wife wanted to start, her own business or she had a product or service that she wanted to offer, then that's something that, we would consider together. I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Okay, I think that I'm just gonna agree with Brother Nabat. A man should prioritize providing for his family, definitely, because I think that is a man's instinct. The reason why the ancestors did that is because it is in your instincts to want to provide for your family. That is just part of being a man, I think when it comes to working or should women stay at home, I genuinely believe that depends on the woman and the woman's skills. There are some women who have a lot of skills to offer, and maybe her staying at home could be suffocating her or suffocating her skills set. I think in the partnership, if maybe, when a child comes in the family, a child is always needing a mother and a father, but the mother is the primary caregiver. I do think that in that, I think people as a couple should probably talk about that and go, what would they have to do in that time? But I do think even if you decide to stay at home, if the woman has skills like business skills, entrepreneurial skills, I think if she has like an online service she could offer, an online business she could do to keep herself still motivated in this day and age, I think that would be a really good idea for the woman, instead of just being completely not working, not exercising her other energies and her other skills that she might have to offer the world. I think that's really, really important. But I also feel as if that when it comes to two incomes, that is great. But when people are in a partnership, another partner can fall ill. And what if he can't provide for the family? I think we should, it's such a capitalist thing to do. We view everything to do with money, but I think we should also view things on a value wise, as to, yes, the man can go out and work really, really hard. But I think as a team, everything needs to be added up to value, because a partner can fall sick. What if he can't go out into work? What is their plan that if that happens, it could be him or her? Do they have enough to still cover themselves? It's all about value, I think.
Okay, we got another brother that got up here. I want to give him an opportunity. I'm mute his mic and say something to the family.
Right back. Peace, family.
Please,
I
what's
came
up,
in
bro?
late. I'm sorry for being tardy. Yeah. Man, just in for discussion. Listen and learn. But before I hear the end of everything, I agree with y'all saying. We gotta support each other. Everybody has a role. There should be balance. That's how I feel. Y'all go ahead, carry on.
Okay, Sister Katina, she put in the chat that she don't agree. Love is not enough to advance. This is what Sister Katina put in the chat. She put that I guess she don't agree with love. She said love is not enough to advance. So you know, um, I'm just reading the chat. Hopefully she come in, but she did put that she don't think that love is enough to advance. So I'm guessing she mean advance in a relationship. Hopefully, she can come in and clarify. But I agree with everybody, man. I'm just asking these questions because, like when you deal with a capitalistic society, the more money, the better. You can all in a capitalistic society, you do need money, like to survive. So the more money you have, the better. And you know how many relationships where money is a big issue, where if your finances isn't straight, it causes problems. Not saying that every relationship is built on finances, but to be real and be realistic, when bills is coming and have to, you know, pay bills and you got children, you got to support your kids. Like if you're financially strapped, that does cause stress and it does affect your relationship. Now I'm not saying that it end all relationships, but it is a barrier that you have to break and get past to understand, and that's the worst thing about being in a capitalistic society is some of the things that, we focus on, we really shouldn't have to focus on it like this. Um, but I do want to say that because I do know you talk to people a lot wherein finances is reason why relationships go down the drain. Sometimes you got a lot of different other reasons, but finances is one. So that's why I asked that question. Um, Let me see. I had another question where I said, okay, if the woman should be the breadwinner, how does this affect the man if their woman is the breadwinner? Um, how does it affect the man? And to me, it depended on what type of man that the woman is with. Because like if I'm in a situation wherein my woman is making more money than me, it's really not a big deal to me. As long as our partnership is strong and we understand the bigger goal. You know, I've been in a relationship where in the country, if you lose your car, you lose all means of transportation. So if you get your driver's license taken, or if your car get taken away from you, you really can't do nothing unless you have somebody that can drive you around. Or if you have, you know what I'm saying, we have vans to go to different places, but certain jobs don't have vans. So I remember I was in a situation wherein I couldn't get around. And and my old lady, she held me down during that time period. She held me down because I wasn't able to get around, so my money was funny. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But the woman that I was with at the time, she held me down because she understood that that was a hurdle that I had to get over. You know, so we survived it. But during that time, she was the breadwinner, and it wasn't a big deal to me. It wasn't something that made me feel less of a man. Um, but because she didn't ride it like that, it was something that we was working on together, and we overcame it. So I'll put that out there. You know, so that's just life though. But like depending where you stay, if you ain't got no car, you can't do nothing. And like in the country is one of these places. If they take your license, you know, that can put a strain on your relationship, especially when bills and stuff is due. Right. So that's why financial literacy is so important, right? So what do y'all think about that? How do you think that affect the man if their woman make more money than them?
I could just say real quick that it shouldn't be an issue in that situation, especially if both parties agree, to perpetuate that type of relationship where that's accepted. But the man shouldn't take that the wrong way. I think that the priority should be protection in that case, because if the woman has a business and she has services or a company where she's making more money or whatever the case may be, the man should again prioritize protection. The home still needs to be protected. Those finances still need to be protected. You know what I mean? Those assets, the family in general. So I don't think that should hurt the man's ego or anything like that, if that's the question. Because ultimately it should be providing, and that doesn't necessarily always finances. It's having a trade. It's knowing what to do. It's also assisting your woman and helping her succeed with her business. Figure out how you can participate in that. So yeah, I don't think that it should be like a competition thing, or where a man should, but his ego is hurt because his woman is making more money. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say on that.
Okay. Anybody else got anything to say on that? I'm gonna go to another question. I wrote some questions down, so I just asked them, and give everybody the opportunity to comment. And one other question I had was, should the man sit home and take care of the children while the woman work, cook and clean? That's a question that I have. Should the black man sit at home, cook and clean while the woman is working, while his woman is working? What is y'all thoughts on that?
I was born on the continent, specifically Zimbabwe. That cannot happen. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at the question. I mean, there are people doing it now. There are people who are doing it and it does work for their relationship, but I think that can be quite a very tricky situation for a lot of relationships to navigate. Personally, in my opinion, I think men are meant to be active. I think it's just part of being a man. And I think personally for me, we need to look at the roles of nurture and how can a man stay at home and nurture a child and give them what a woman can only give a child. A man doesn't have the same level of femininity as a woman. And children, when they're really young, they need like a mother's love, a mother's touch, that whole gentleness. They need that. I'm not saying men can't do that, but I just think it's a really tough thing to navigate. There are women who can tell you, oh, I can totally do it, be in a situation and become a very domineering, disgusting person to their partner because they somehow feel like it's a power trip for them. We are humans. We can find ourselves in situations and we think we can handle it. And then we can do the complete opposite of what we are meant to actually do in that situation. And I think in the end, I think when men do that, where they look after their children, there is a certain level of redundancy that can come with that. Personally speaking, I think some men can feel really redundant in the long run. In the beginning, they might really like it. It's not, if they find themselves feeling redundant, doesn't mean that they don't like being with their children, but I think they want to be more purposeful in a more providing type of way. Men want to provide. I think it's just in the nature of men to want to, well, normal healthy men anyway, not every man. But I think that can be a very difficult situation to navigate for a lot of people. But there are people doing it. The outcomes vary, to be honest. But me being born on the continent, that is something that would be very much frowned upon, very much looked down upon. They would cuss out the family. They would be a lot said about the family. They would be a lot said about the man. They would be a lot said about the family. I mean, my mother is from the continent. If I told her that my husband was staying at home and looking after the children, she would have a lot to say about it. It wouldn't be something that it's just against the African society to do such a thing. It is not something that would happen back home. I call the continent back home because it's where I was born. So it's not something that I see it happening here, but it's not something that would happen on the continent. But if it's for money purposes, where maybe him staying at home, I don't know, but I think it's a difficult situation to navigate personally.
Well, I have I'm gonna read some of the comments because we have a brother. Maybe he gonna come in. I don't know. I sent him the link, but he said he would do it. Um, that but he's saying that if it's is it feasible in today's culture, and depending on the partnership that he would do it. So we have a couple new people that just joined, so I want to give them the opportunity to at least unmute their mic and say hi to the family, and then if they want to, they can chime in if they have been listening, or if they haven't been listening, you can just say hi to the family and wait till you know, find your spot to jump in.
Peace, family. It's Master You. I'm just tapping in now, so I'm gonna sit back and listen. And if there's an opportunity for me to speak, I'll be sure to add my perspective.
Okay. I thought somebody else said. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. I could also say from our perspective as Sabians, again in this same Patarak regarding our way, which is dealing it is the African way. So it isn't just in regard to a particular way of life. It's in regards to our original way of life as Africans in general. But it says here in verse 30 that the Nuwapian man overstands and understands the duties and responsibilities of a man and places these before his own welfare. So I think that that's also very telling. I think that again, depending on the relationship or what those two parties agree to, but the responsibilities of a man is unshakable. You know what I mean? It's the foundation. It's no getting around that. We have obligations as men to be providers, to be protectors. So, I can't really say as far as the man staying at home and taking on completely the role of a woman. That's not what we teach in our culture. In fact, in verse 61 here, it says to say, be a man treats men as men and women as women. You know what I mean? So with that being said, those responsibilities, like the sister was stating earlier, certain things that the woman passes on to the child, with a nurturing manner that a man cannot do while still maintaining his manhood. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. I think on certain levels, to a certain degree, there's also certain things that women, I won't say cannot do, because they can do anything, but would not be in alignment with the laws of natural nature for them to perform the duties that are naturally associated with men, while still maintaining their womanhood or still maintaining their level of femininity, as we can see, clear examples of. So it's not to say that women can't do a certain thing. I think that women can do anything a man can do. It's just that when we start and vice, I won't say vice versa, because a man can't, certain things men can't do. A man can attempt to nurture a child, but he would have to literally compromise his manhood. And a woman, she can go out and she can take on the jobs that men typically perform, and she can do it just as good as a man. But as we see, there's certain things that those women have to compromise. You know what I'm saying, about their original natural nature in order to perform those things, or in order to do those things. And if that's okay with the two parties in a relationship, then that's their thing. That's why I say it's to each its own. But we have to understand the difference between what natural nature has set in place, what was our original way of life in ancient Africa, like the sister was stating earlier, versus what we're doing over here in America today. And it's two different things. So according to our way of life, the man has his obligations, he has his responsibilities, and so does the woman.
Yeah, and I want to I second that. I certain things men just can't do, man. I don't mind cooking my old lady a dinner. You know what I'm saying? But like certain things just men just ain't meant to do on a constant basis, right? But to each his own, because in the time that we live in, I see it. You can see it on social media all the time, wherein brothers are doing the kids' hair, you got some brothers that are stay at home men now. And you have women that want their man to stay at home and do them duties and their work. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's African. I think that is how do I say? I want to say that that's something that we have learned over here. It's something that is a learned behavior, and I don't think it's something traditionally something that we would have been doing. But even though it's not traditionally, now the question has to come into, okay, it may not be traditionally, but from the aspect of where we are in America, is it helpful, or is it harmful? I'm just asking questions, being devil's advocate, because I see a lot of it, man. You see it on social media. It's like, yo, it's buck wild. So yeah, I be
That's a great
wondering,
question. Did somebody else
what's going
chime in on that?
on, man?
That's a great question. Did somebody else want to chime in on that first?
No, you go first,
Yeah,
Brother Nabat. I'll go after you.
Go ahead,
Good.
Master. You roll
No,
back, brother.
Yeah, peace, family. I would definitely say, I can go either way as long as things is understood. I think a lot of times when we talk about the role of a man or woman, we automatically assume that, a dude run the house and you know the woman stay at home, you know, barefoot and pregnant, and the dude, whatever's in the house, the woman take care of. Whatever's out the house, a man take care of. Now, for me, I was raised. I had uncles around, you know, and you know, I seen my dad a good man. I seen my dad. This is not like a trash, you know, towards him, but I was raised by my mom. And my mom raised two boys, me and my brother, and I got a sister too. But my mama always taught us how to do everything, how to pay bills, how to cook, how to clean, how to wash clothes, like, you know, how to go out and hustle and make money. Me and my brother we both hustle and we both keep, you know, money out in our pockets. So our mom taught us certain things and seeing. So with that being said, rolling over into marriage, like I never expected my wife to always have my food ready on the table. If you worked as hard as I work, you know, you tired on that day, then you go home, you chill out. You know, you know, you know what I'm saying? We both make a sandwich and chill, or eat some cereal and chill. That don't mean that some days that she don't cook or I don't cook. That don't mean that. But I think a lot of these hard and steadfast rules, you have to look at the situation and what works for that particular couple or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I had the liberty of working at home. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I have business that I can take care of at home, and sometimes I have to travel when I'm home. You know what I'm saying? You know, if I'm home and my wife is out, you know, she's out working, I make sure the house is clean, because for me, it's wrong for me as a man for me to be at home and expect, you know, and I'm home working. You get what I'm saying? I'm not home not doing nothing, but I may work 3 days out of the week. I have, you know, the liberty to do that because of the type of work that I do. And so if I'm home, I make sure I take my kids to school. I go over their homework with them. You know what I'm saying? I make sure my wife got a meal. I'll keep the house clean. And for me, as wrong as me as a man, if I'm working from home, it'll take me 3 to 4 hours to knock my work off. I might just go sit home and scratch my butt, and I help my kids not, you know, iron their clothes out, not gonna have a meal prepared for my wife. I'm not the type of dude to do that, because I feel like if I'm in a relationship with you, I expect you to bring the same thing to the table. You're working as hard as I am. So I'm gonna meet you halfway. And if there's something that you're lacking, then I'm gonna pick the pieces up for you, and then vice versa. You know, in the place I'm like, you can do the exact same thing for me. So, you know, I do my daughter's hair. Now, I ain't the best at it. My wife showed me how, my mama showed me how. You know, I ain't the best at it, but you know, when my daughter go to school, I'm her dad. So when she walk out these doors, I'm make sure that she right and exact, and that it may not be the same. It may not be the way that the most professional hairstylist can do it, but she gonna be straight. Get what I'm saying? You know, I take my daughter out on daughter dates. I do the same thing with my son. I mean, I just do a lot of stuff with my kids that may not necessarily be what some people may say is like traditional. You know what I'm saying? So like with my kids, I do certain things. Like my kids know if they see a gun sitting on a table, they already know what to do. If they go to somebody's house and the gun on the table, they know what to do. They know how to, if you give them a knife, they know how to tell you if the knife is given to them the wrong way or the right way. If they get locked in the car, they know how to unlock the car doors, get out of the car seat, let the oven out, let you in the car. They know how to do all this stuff because we taught them things together. And for me, I feel like, now I know everybody has roles. Everyone has a role. But if you are a single man or as a male or female, you have to know how to cover bases, period, if you don't have any help. And my mom taught me that. And when I got into my marriage, I let my wife do what she do, but I also have to understand where my wife is at. And if she's out hustling and she's working and I'm home, you know what I'm saying, and I finish my work in 2 hours, like I previously said, I have no problem getting the house clean for her. Get what I have no problem. Only thing I don't like doing is folding clothes. I throw them on the couch. I throw anything else I do, but folding clothes, I throw them on the couch, man. But anyway, that's my perspective. Some people may agree, some people may disagree, but that's just my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, real quick, family. And that's exactly, I agree with that, and that's exactly what, I didn't really have all of the examples, but the brother, because I'm not a father exactly, but the brother gave perfect examples of providing, you know what I mean, still taking on the responsibilities of being a man. And that's one thing we could definitely kind of clear up is you know, some of the misconceptions or what exactly are the responsibilities of a woman and what exactly are the responsibilities of a man. You know what I'm saying? Because that can kind of get misconstrued a lot. And the brother just gave a perfect example of that. Like he said, he works at home, and you know, he helps he helps his children with their homework. He does the same thing. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork effort. It's not necessarily the responsibilities of a man or woman, but in him doing those things, he's actually fulfilling, you know what I mean, his duties and his obligations as being a provider, you know what I mean, of the house. So that's pretty much, you know what I mean, what it is. It's not cut and dry. What it is, it's not cut and dry across all relationships. And that's why I said it's pretty much to each his own, you know, depending on the circumstances of that relationship and, you know, what works best in that situation.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
It's Colette. I'm just going to piggyback off because I'm just tagging in and everything, but based on the two gentlemen that just spoke, not sure of the names. In my household, it's not a man's job or a woman's job. Me and my husband, we are a team. In the mornings when I'm getting ready for work, because I have three kids. I have a 17-year-old. I just ran up the stairs. I'm sorry. A 17-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Of course, the 17-year-old, he's good, do everything by himself. The two younger ones. So in the mornings, while I'm getting ready for work, my husband will get the two boys ready so then I can focus on myself because he don't have to go to work until later on in the afternoon. So I get myself ready and pack the kids' lunch while he get the boys ready. And some mornings he even helped me get them loaded in the car. As far as housework, we tackle that. If I load the washing machine and I load it and I had to run out to go do something and it stopped and he see that, he's gonna put those clothes in the dryer. You know, the young man say he don't like folding. I think that's the same thing with my husband as well. But as far as putting it, getting it washed, getting it dry, everything, you could count on him for that. Cleaning of the house, you could count on that. He likes the kitchen more than I do, but I still will do it. Like if it says, for instance, he's at work, I'm at home all day or whatever the case may be or whatever, I'm gonna cook. The vice versa with him. The same thing with the cleaning of the house. Same thing with sharing the bills and everything. I remember last year something happened with our power and I had to spend like 2 weeks at my dad's house. Now, my dad met my husband, knew who he was, but never got to spend like that quality one-on-one time. And when we stayed at their house for 2 weeks, he was able to do that. My dad came to me and said, you know what? You got a real fine gentleman on your hand. Like I really like him. Like because he saw the how we connect and how we teamwork. He just don't leave everything. Oh, everything is up to me. Can you imagine like to a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then my 5-year-old has spectrum autism. So, you know, that's like dealing with two kids right there. Like, you know, so I just feel like the teamwork make the dream work. It makes it easier. That back in the day, oh, if my husband is not here and the garbage is packed or whatever, whether and it needs to be taken out, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a man's job to take the garbage out. So I'm just gonna wait for him. Like, we don't do that around here. And it just make everything syncs together and just works so much easier. Like we don't wait on each other for, oh, that's her job, she needs to do that or he needs to do that. We come together and we pull it together. I don't care. I can mow a lawn if I need to. I can mow a lawn, you know. I could change a car tire if I need to, you know. So I just do believe strongly in, you know, you work as a team and everything will work out great.
Um, I concur, Queen. Robert, I think Robert wanted to say something. He had raised his hand. Oh,
Hey, peace. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think everybody pretty much addressed it, but we had an intro discussion, me and my wife. We had talked about having a child, and I had told her at this point in life, you know, after doing it the one way of both working and trying to raise a child that way. I told her the only way I would have a child is if I could stay home and to raise it and not work. And if she chose to work, which she would have to have done, that'd be fine too. So I can see it both ways. I think in today's society, and it's more effective not to look at it as my role and your role, but how we're gonna evolve and move forward as a team. And if polygamy is what your team needs, then that's good for y'all. If the man working and the woman staying home, that's good. If both of y'all need to work, then that's good. Or if the man stays, it's just whatever your team needs. I think we need to get out of this the box society puts us in. Because even if when you look at the pygmies, the men raised most of their children. They even breastfed. So I mean, they didn't get nothing out of it, but the pygmies breastfed their baby. So, that's just my little take on it.
Okay. So here we go. Because you know me, I like to stir up the pot, man. Everybody want to agree. No, we got to stir the pot up, right? So, what happens when the lines are getting blurred? So when I say that, I mean this. How about this? Now I'm asking this question. So, are roles traditionally like, do a man have a role and a woman have a role, or are the roles interchangeable as far as what's best for the family at that moment?
I believe that's what we're saying. That there is no role. It's whatever fits us and our needs and how we choose to raise our children and what style of life we've had. I mean, you can make it on one income. It's just all about the style of life you have nowadays. So do you want a 2-income style of life, or do you want to invest that time and energy, homeschool your children, and do that? So it's whatever the team needs. And I think when you get caught up in that role, like, you're supposed to do it, that's his thing. No, that's you can't have it both ways. You can't choose this is what the man does today, but the woman does this now, and it does get construed or mixed. So you just have to do what's best for you, what's you and yours. That's all I say.
Sister
Yep.
Katina, I think you wanted to say something.
I don't even know I totally forgot how to use this device as of yesterday. So I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
No, you
to all
good.
of
We
them.
hear you. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. What I do want to say is I totally do not believe in a woman supporting a man. And I want to say that, like, if the guys, there's exceptions to that. If the guy lost his job and he's looking for another job and transitioning into that, that's okay. If he's in school and he's trying to finish so you both can have a better income and lifestyle, that's okay. But what you're not going to do is be sitting at home in your boxers on the Xbox and PlayStation trying to kiss somebody on the cheek when they walk through that door. I don't agree with it at all. I think it should
That's
be
like,
just,
why'd y'all get married? How did you get that far if that's the kind of person you married?
it's funny you say that, because I was talking to a friend today. I would not, if I spoke to a guy and I really liked him, one of the first questions, there's going to be many questions, and one of the first questions would be, what do you do for a living? If
How
you're
long
not
have you
doing
been?
anything, you need to explain why you're not. Oh, I'm in school, or I just lost my job, but I'm looking for a new one or something. Because that's when you hit a certain age, and I think guys and women, I think they say women are more mature, but these days everybody seems to be more immature. But when you're trying to look for that person, right? Like, guys have what they want in a female, and females should have what they want in a man already in their mind. Because at some point you're going to have to look at your life and be like, okay, I finished school, or I did an apprenticeship, or I'm trying to. You should be at certain ages getting your life together, and you should know if you want to be married or not. You should know who you want to marry and what it's going to be like for you. It doesn't mean all your decisions are going to be right, But the moment that you decide to date somebody that you know isn't working, I don't see that as a great bond or it's going to be a great relationship at all. Because at some point, you're going to get tired of paying out for everything. And when it comes to, you know, in my mind, and it could be because of my parents or how I was raised or whatever, but in my mind, I don't mind a woman or a man doing something outside of what their normal role is, right? Because guys are supposed to be, you know, going back to women are the gatherers and, you know, the nurturers or whatever. And I feel like, especially for the Black community, that role has been reversed. It's almost to a point where a Black woman cannot be feminine at all because we have to take on the role of a man and a woman. And I don't think at any point, nobody, if you're struggling, then that means you both have to have a job because you're not going to be living the lifestyle that you want if you're struggling. If somebody makes 80 or over $100,000 and you want your wife or husband to stay home, okay, that's you, that's your life. I don't think that's traditional, but you know, whatever works for you. But it really irks me. Women should be able to rest in their femininity. And I don't think it's feminine for a woman. In my mind, that's like telling a woman, okay, the man, the big strong man's at home. All right, I'll take care of the kids. And the woman has to put on her warrior gear to go out there and hunt a deer or whatever to feed the family. That doesn't work for me because I was raised as a woman and I want to be a woman. I want to be feminine, but we're not even allowed to be feminine. Like what man is comfortable sitting at home, not working?
Exactly.
I don't want to be home and have my husband in or my man or whomever in the kitchen just cooking and saying, hey honey, how's your day? No, that's not a role designed for men, and it's not for men. Now if there's a certain situation going on, maybe he's got like a home business he's running or whatever, that's fine as long as he's working. And working requires a lot of things that you have to do. But it's like I don't like that. I don't think Black women should just settle to take care of a man. If your man's going through school, what is school? 2 years and then 4 years, maybe 6, tops 8. Tops 8 if you're getting your master or doctorate. It's like tops. Your man should not be comfortable. He should feel very uncomfortable being at home and you're working. I don't get it, and that's not something I want to embrace. And
I have a
feel
question for her. Sister.
Yes.
What about if you, I think some of us are like saying, if you come to an agreement saying, hey, this is how we want to raise our children. We understand you're going to work and I'm going to stay home.
What
Do
the
you,
man
do
saying
you
that?
see? Yeah, like I use me. Me and my wife had talked about this. Recently married 6 years now, and we had recently talked about having a baby. And I
Okay.
told her the only way that I really was going to have a baby is if I got to stay home, or her, but it was going to be me because of she's really into a career that she loves and she doesn't want to let it go totally, which I understand that. And that's something we talked about. But I said I would stay home. What we make, you know, we could live this certain way on it, and it wouldn't be a more or less you be taking care of me. This is the plan. I'm gonna homeschool the child. Yes, of course, I'm gonna do the other necessary things, but it's not gonna be you taking care of me and this,
Well,
this
she
and that.
is, right? Because she's the provider. She is taking care of you,
But
right?
it's but I think that's a perspective thing. Are you the provider, or are you taking care of the unit? And I'm taking care of the unit this way. I'm doing I guess I seen it as an investment, you know, sitting home, raising my child, homeschooling it with all the knowledge and the tools I've gained in these 46 years. I think, boom, I'd be the bomb at it right now. You know, I think my child would be above normal with all I could be able to do and show it. So it was just something that we had worked out, not as, and I think in today's society that there's no reason for no one to work. Even if you did choose to do that, there's $14, $15, $16 phone jobs you could do. You know, you could still
Right.
sit at home and make some kind of money, you know, if it was just, you know, $200-300 a week. So I don't know. I was just
So
wondering.
why not? So let me ask you this, and I don't feel like I even should have to say this because I think everybody on here is mature and respectful. So don't take my words as a sign of disrespect.
No.
Well, how do you feel knowing that your wife is going out there sitting, you're not helping, right? Because you're helping raise the kids, that's fine. But you're not helping financially. Are you okay with that? Because yes, you're investing in your child, you're getting your child ready, and homeschool kids are pretty damn smart. They're smart kids. And if you want to invest in your child and everything, but you know, if you and your wife obviously have found a solution where she's okay and you're okay with it, that does not work for me. And I feel like that is the burden of the Black woman. We're the only race of people where the woman has become like masculine and the man has been feminized. Like, I don't want to, the way I was raised, and I'm very old school, the man is the provider, he's the force, he's the protector, he's all of that. And you back your man. You back him, whether you like, you got to stay home and take care of kids, you do that. But he is at the forefront. He is the earner. He is the protector. He's the one running that household. When you Black men take that ability away, where you're not doing that, then you're emasculating the female. She's the breadwinner. She's going to make the decisions. Yeah, you might sit at the table and talk to them, oh, we got to pay this and that, but that is, she's bringing in the money. And I'm not saying that's your situation. You like you said, you sat down, you talked to your wife, you guys made that decision. That does not work for me. I won't even talk to a man that is not working, because that does not work for me. And I'm not, you're married, right? So you and your wife, you probably have a very strong bond. That's somebody that you want to live your life with. But I'm telling you, out in this environment, and I think I said on the last show, there's a Black woman, and she's a beautiful chocolate Black woman. And she married a white man because she said, I'm not dealing with this BS. I'm not selling for less. She's saying, Black women, quit, wait, and go. Because Black women are not getting married. And we are probably one of the most racially loyal women out there. It's not because other races of men don't want us. That's not true. It's because we want to be with you guys. But what we're not seeing in our community is that strong head, where that's like, hey, we can look at that Black man and say, hey, he's doing just as good as the white man. They're just treating him differently because of his race. We don't want to be with men with saggy pants that's out there at the corner store saying, hey, you want this or that, like you're not working. We want to be like any other woman. We want men with potential and that can help us build the future that we want. And we don't have that in our community. One, because there's way more Black women than Black men. And I'm not disrespecting you in any kind of way, but I will not be with a man that stays at home. And if you've lost your job, you better be sure that we're going to be sitting down at that table and trying to bring our heads together to figure out what can we do. But I, as a woman, am not comfortable with a man at home, even if he's taking care of our kids. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want that leadership role. It's the man's job to lead the family. And when you're not in that role, that means your wife's taking that role. And I don't like that, because Black women
how do you feel? Question real quick. How do you feel about two income? All right, if you work in two incomes and the woman makes more than the man, does she now take all that, still that masculine role in the decision-making role?
No, because you're both working.
Well, let me interject real fast. I need to interject.
Okay, go ahead. See, I was about to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Katina, you said a lot. Katina, you said a lot.
I know, I talk a lot. I can't help it.
That Black woman that married that white man, she a bad witch. Bottom line, I don't care.
You know, you guys like to use that term, but what do you want her to do?
Hold on. Slow down. I'm gonna get you out. I'm very tactful with my words.
She's trying to live her best life. She's just trying to live her best life.
Okay, but listen, you attract the energy you put out is the energy you receive. So if she attracting Black men that ain't that to her standard, that's because the energy she's putting out. Obviously, she not searching in the right areas. Or
there's not a lot of y'all that are, hold on. There's not a lot of y'all that are out there to choose from.
Maybe the energy that she's putting out is keeping good Black men away from her.
No,
so I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that.
That's what y'all always say.
But hold on, but what I will say is, if somebody want to date outside their race, they can do that. I'm not, me particular, this ain't nothing that I want to do. I want to stay within my race because I want to build my race. So everybody is have the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, right?
Right.
But when you make excuses for why you're doing it, that's why I say you're a bad witch. Because to me, you're making an excuse to do something that you just want to do anyway.
Well, that's
Because like, because if you and now, because then the other question has to be brought up into polygamy. See, with this type of conversation, if the women are saying that they can't find qualified men that meet their quote unquote standards, then and the qualified men that do meet their standards are already taken. So now we have to start talking about polygamy then, because that's the only way the conversation can next go to. Because now you're saying that it's men out there, but they're limited. So that means that those men that meet the standards need to be able to have multiple wives then. Because that's the only.
See, and this is what forces us to be like, we can't deal with this. We got to go elsewhere. Wait a minute. Would you date a woman if you, whether you have a college degree or not? Let's just say you're running your own business, right? Got your business all set. Your head's right. You've been in your business for 5-10 years and you want to settle down with a woman. Are you going to go for the woman that's a nurse or somebody that works at Wendy's?
To me, it don't matter. To me, it don't matter the job. The job don't matter to me. It's the person that I'm dating. So like with me, I don't date. I don't date women based off their pay, because then you're setting up yourself for disaster off gate. See, the relationship shouldn't be made off how much money someone makes. It should be made off the relationship between me and the person, the vibe that we have. I am not going to marry a millionaire if we can't get along, because that's just a waste of time. So
well, let me just say something real quick. I just think that might have been like a little bit extreme example, Katina, but I think I get what Katina is saying. It's not more so, dating a person who's working at Wendy's, but you want to know that this 5-10 years that you put in your hard sweat, blood, tears and everything to build this, that you're just not gonna go get anybody to come join with you. And that's why
you have a dating process. You date to figure out who you're dealing with.
With an 18-year-old working at Wendy's is different from a 30-year-old working at Wendy's. That means you're not trying to progress your life. Why would you want to be with someone like that? You've been at Wendy's for 10 years.
What if that 30-year-old working at Wendy's got an IRA? They got money put away, stocks and bonds, but they just like working at Wendy's.
That's something. Then that means that they're using their brain and they're doing something, and that needs to be a part of the conversation. But I'm talking about the ones that are not doing that, right? So you guys have to understand you are a selective group.
But hey. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. y'all go in there. I love y'all.
I'm not using the raised hand no more. I'm finna poke mine down because y'all don't respect.
No. Who is that? Go ahead. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Talk. Go ahead. I'm gonna wait.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's cool.
No. We decent and in order, sister. Go ahead. Say your piece, and I'll follow after you.
No. Trust me. It's cool, sweetheart. Just go ahead.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay. Cool. All right. So look, this is Master You, and I think it was Katina was going in, and she was saying, I'm sorry, she was going in, she was saying what she's saying. I think really what she's trying to say is that she prefer a man to lead. Not that she knocking what nobody else going on, but in order for her situation to work, she needs a man she has an image of what she wants, and that's what worked for her. I don't think she, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, don't take offense to what she's saying. She just saying what works for her. Now, to add on to that, if a man do want to stay at home, again, I think a lot of time people talk about providing, it always comes like in relation to money, in the situation of money. A woman can make more money than a man, or that could be whether somebody wants to stay at home. That's not what I do. I work from home, but I also like travel. So if whatever your arrangement is that work for you, that work for you. That ain't my business. That's your universe. Ain't for me to knock it. That ain't mine. I run mine the way I run it. You run yours the way that you run it. But anyway, like I was saying, if a guy does stay at home, it doesn't mean that a woman is always providing for him. Because I can say this. I can say this for a fact. I remember when my wife was pregnant. Like I did everything in the house while she was getting herself together. And me being home, like, taking care of my kids, if it takes me 3 or 4 hours to get work done, or I get off work at 5 o'clock in the morning and I take my kids getting ready for school and then do homework. somebody who stays at home, I'm gonna be honest, whether it's a male or female, that is a really big job. Especially you got like 3 or 4 kids, you cooking, you cleaning, you washing, you got to do their homework. This even before you have any time for yourself. That is whoever's representing that role. That is a really big job. So just because someone stays home, I don't take nothing away from that person. Like, you do you. But the flip side of it is this, is if there is ever an issue and man is there, is going to stand up and take care of that issue. That's to me when you start to see the difference between a man leading or in certain situations, or if a woman leading. Makes sense what I'm saying? If she's broke down on the side of the road, is he calling her like, well, you fix it yourself? Then yeah, she the masculine one. But if he home, he like, nah, baby, I got you. I got you. I'm home, but I got the other car straight. You take the other car. I'm gonna take this car to such and such. I done set home. I done balance out the books. I got the budget. You working this, we had the money aside, and that's, you know what I'm saying. If you doing that, or if somebody disrespect your female, he like, no, you handle, you know, you the man. No, if he steps in and handle it, and he helps correct the kids, then that man is still doing what he's supposed to be doing. Makes sense what I'm saying? And so if that situation works for you, then that particular situation works for you. It makes sense what I'm saying? And then on the other side of it, there's always been more women than it has been men. So that's not a new phenomenon. It's of all races, always been more women. You go to, when I went to college, it was, oh my God, it was so many women there. So we go the traditional route, there will be women who does not have a man. You can eliminate you can eliminate all white, all Chinese, and just have black people. There are going to be women who are not going to be married, point blank period, because it's just not enough men one-on-one to marry you. Then you bring in the whole thing of polygamy, and for some people it don't work. For some people say, look, I'll try it out. For me, I'm not in one, but I don't see anything wrong with a polygamous relationship. Me personally, that's just me.
You have to afford to
Right.
afford that. And,
right. You do have to afford that. Here's the thing, though. Again, here's the thing. When the biggest thing in a relationship, you have to sit down and have a conversation. You got to communicate and talk. If this sister said, look, I don't want no dude doing X, Y, Z, you know, then you let it be known out gate. If you're going into a polygamous relationship, like if I had one, most people think about sex. To me, it'd be about like, let's go buy some more rental property. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put our money together, buy some rental property. There's always somebody at home to teach the kids, whether it be me or you or the other person. You know, if there's an issue at school, one of us can handle it. You get what? To me, that's how if you're going to do it that way. Most people might automatically go, oh, this nigga want to have sex with 6 women, with 6 women. No, I mean, some people might are like, but everybody's mentality is not that way. But for me, when I look at the role of a man or a woman, I agree. Somebody has to till the land, and somebody's the garden. I 100% with that. But at the end of the day, it's what works for you two. If you know what I'm saying, if whatever works for you, it works for you. All I know is if a burglar run up in that crib, a woman shouldn't go down there to defend it. If the man is home, the man should defend it. Now, the flip side to that is I teach my daughter, it don't matter who with you. If it come time to set it, you can set it off by yourself. So if your husband ain't there, you can go down there and rat-tat, do whatever you got to do. So for me, my woman should be capable of if I'm not around, she can step into the leadership role. But you get what I'm saying? But if I'm there, she's like, no, baby, you got it. That's how I run my household. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet. I love y'all, and I'm.
Yeah, I want to introduce Shay. Let her unmute her mic, and after her, brother Richard, I think he just came in here. I want y'all to unmute your mic, say hi to the family, and chime in.
hi, everybody. It's Shay. A few of y'all already know me, but I definitely wanted to check what y'all was doing out and be a part of the experience, within the Black community.
Glad that you came.
Hello, hey, this is Richard. Hey, I'm just coming off a call, jumping on this call. It's a pleasure to catch you guys. And let me just catch up. I think we was talking about being a father. So I definitely have some tips on that. So let me just catch up with you guys and ladies.
All right, Sister Colette, I see you had your hand raised, or was that earlier? Coletta.
Yeah,
I see,
I'm sorry.
I see your hand is raised. Your
Oh
hand
yeah,
raised.
that was from earlier, but I can just say my little piece. What I wanted to say. I'm outside. I was trying to get away from my kids too. So I agree with everything Katina is saying. Like, coming from where I'm coming from, like, I was raised with my grandparents. Yeah, my mom was very active and around, but it was like a family house, and so my grandmother, my grandfather had a lot of say so in things, but from what I see with them is that my grandma stood at home because they didn't want their kids in daycare or someone else have to care for them or things of that nature. So he worked and she stood home and they made it work and everything like that. Now that's the type of upbringing, that's what I'm used to. Like Katina was saying about, like, yeah, if you lose your job, you're transitioning and stuff like that, it's okay. You're not gonna come and beat down on, because I could lose my job as well. It just all goes back to that teamwork and so forth. But it's not very appealing for a man to just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna let my woman go to work and I'm gonna stay home. And based on what we were speaking of last night, that's why you have so many people with the perspective of a black man. Now, the comment that Katina made about the young lady saying, oh, don't date black men, this, that, on the third, that just goes back on, they're not, a lot of them out here is not doing anything. I'm not saying all black men are like that, but a lot of them. Now, what about, if you date someone and they're black, it didn't work out. You date someone else, they're black, it didn't work out, and so forth. Aren't you going to say to yourself, well, hey, let me just try? And it's not, oh, you're just attracting the worst people to yourself, because I've been there and I've done that. Now, my husband is not, he's Jamaican as well, so it's not like, outside of my race or anything like that. But to go back a little further, before my husband, I was dating this guy back at home. And when I go there to visit, everything was always on me. Even though I had the money, I really did have the money. It felt so uncomfortable. We're going to the beach. The money is on me. We're going out to eat. It's on me. We're going to get a hotel room. It's on me. Everything was just on me. And that was just like, when I tell you, but listen, nice guy, very nice guy, could cook, could clean, and everything else. But that wasn't enough for me. Like, and because I was uncomfortable, my grandparents, my mom, and other people was able to see that and spot that. And that didn't feel good at all. Now, okay, so I had to end that, because I'm like, look, I just didn't be like, oh, I don't want you because you don't want to work. No, I have many sit downs and be like, hey, what are we doing here? What do you do? What do you want to do? Let's get this together. Nothing, none of that works. So guess what? I was out. I'm like, deuces, I'm out. Now I met my husband, right? And he was still back at home. So we got married and I had to do the filing. And the filing came through, and it was 2016, the end of April, I remember. And he got here and everything, and he like, okay, I need to get my resume together. I'm like, dude, like, literally, like, I'm not trying to be funny, like, got here the Sunday, and by the Monday, Tuesday was on it, like, need to get my resume together, need to do this, need to do. Now, I wasn't forcing him to do none of that, because I'm like, listen, I was thinking in my head, like, it's going to be a few months before he get his feet off the ground, get to know the area, so for everything like that. He already did his homework from back home. Ask Katina, we have the GM, General Motors. He knew more about the company than I did. He was telling me, hey, you know what? Do you know anyone that works there? I would like to apply there. I was looking at it before I came and stuff like that. He came prepared. And I kid you not. So he came the end of April. And by June, he was working. By June he was working, because you know what? It wasn't about me. It was him. He was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable staying at home. The month that he stood at home with our son, He was uncomfortable. I was in school, I was working, I came home to a nice clean house. I came home to dinner. I came home to my son have his bath, everything like that. But guess what? That wasn't enough for him. He was not comfortable, and I was not forcing him like, listen, you need to get a job. You need to go out there and do this now. We need money. No, it was not that case scenario. I was okay working my full-time job, going to school part-time, and I knew I was going to, we were going to make it work based on how we was living at the time. And that eventually, once he get his feet off the ground, and stuff like that, he could get a job and stuff, but he wasn't comfortable with that. So I wasn't raised like that. It's uncomfortable. I don't feel like any man should feel comfortable, just to stay at home and let their wife, go out there and work. I really don't, but that's just my opinion.
Sister Natasha, you got your hand raised?
Yes, I agree with what Sister Katina said when she touched on the masculinity and femininity. I love that she pointed that out because our community has that problem where the Black woman has been, just literally made into a man, to be honest with you. And the funny thing is, the same men who don't want to show up for us will say, oh, a Black woman is too difficult to deal with. She's too strong. She's too this. What is she meant to do? The other problem is we are the only race who, will not protect the femininity of the Black woman enough. We think the Black woman needs to be this strong Amazonian woman. We don't protect. There should be no reason in any family. There's brothers here who are fathers. It is your role to protect your daughter's femininity in your household. It is your role. It is your job. So why is it that we are the only race that will not protect the Black woman when she's grown up from being a little girl? We don't protect her femininity. Why? And I absolutely love that the sister brought that up. Another thing is we are the only race who have grown men in our community who think it is a woman's job to work, feed, and do everything. And as Sister Colette said, when she was dating that guy, you go somewhere, it's on you. You go somewhere, it's on you. Because why? A lot of our communities being raised by grandmothers and mothers, and these boys see women work and work and work and work, and they actually expect it from their partners. Instead of feeling sorry for their mothers and grandmothers and going, I will not create that in my own life. They keep creating and creating and creating more situations where the Black woman again has to be this strong, just this strong force all the time. Black women are also tired of being strong, absolutely tired of it. And I was brought up in a household where my mother taught my brothers how to cook, clean, do everything. I'm very proud. I come from a family where my father is an amazing man. He taught me that, especially what Master you said, that he teaches his daughter, you can do anything for yourself as well, But my dad was he provided, he loved my mom, he was affectionate. My brothers are exactly like that in their relationships and their marriages. They are literally like that. But I think it's really important, like what Sister Katina said, somebody's background, you have got to know somebody's background. It's very important to ask somebody, what do you want to do? No man should ever feel comfortable sitting at home and doing nothing. It is against our culture as African people. It is against the way that we should be living. A woman should not have that on her shoulders, and our community needs to stop repeating this. It really needs to. And when Black women voice their voices about this, it shouldn't be said that, oh, here we go again, they're all just troublemakers, they're just too headstrong. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to protect our femininity. So where are we headed to? And I love my sisters in here who are speaking up and speaking the truth. This needs to be said. This is a conversation that needs to happen in our community. It has to stop.
Let me just say something real quick. So I want to reiterate, and I agree with what what both of the sisters were saying. But this just pretty much this tells us that we have to look at the culture that we're living in today. And this is what the underlying factor is, what and difficulty is, where we're allowing the roles to be switched and the burden to be put on women, where like the sisters were saying earlier, the women become more masculine and the men become more feminine. And what that means is this: there's certain things. It's not necessarily pointing out what exact responsibilities are, specifics. What I'm talking about is this: for women to have to protect the family, right? If the man can't, yet he won't, because he looks at it as the woman's responsibility. That's not natural nature, right? Under no circumstances, that's not natural nature. If that's what they agree with in that particular relationship, that's I'm not going to step in on that. But I think that what we need to focus on is, what exactly do we want? Do we want to continue living this in this type of culture, right? In this type of environment, where the woman is put out to be the provider and to be the protector. And it's not just, and we know the difficulties that also face our race here, especially in the West. We know the difficulties with employment. We know the difficulties with starting businesses. We know the difficulties with Black men walking inside of a bank getting a business loan, right? The redlining, as far as getting a home. We know all of the underlying factors that makes it more difficult for our race in general, but more specifically Black men to provide legally, what I mean, without being discriminated upon. And not to use that as an excuse, but that's why I say that we need to really start looking at the environment that we're in, and do we want to remain in this condition, or are we going to take back our original traditions, which dealt with the men standing up, being a provider, prioritizing that, and him taking on that responsibility. It's one thing for the woman to be able to provide, to be able to protect. That's fine. Like I said, like my brother Master you spoke about in his particular relationship, and then especially in the West, in the day and time that we're living in, that's feasible. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm in other situations where difficulty may lie, where the burden is being put on the woman, I don't think that that's in our natural natures to allow those things to happen. So what we need to really do is look at the type of culture and the type of environment that we're living in, and really ask ourselves, are we going to continue in this direction, or are we going to stand up as men, and take back our responsibility and our obligation? And that's why I say it's a difference between a woman providing and a woman having the obligation to provide over a man. You see what I'm saying? That's two different things. So that's my piece on that.
Can I jump in here, people? Hey, first off, I want to wish everybody on here a happy Father's Day. And I want to just say, I haven't heard much, but August the 5th, I would have been married 30 years. So today I had all three of my sons over here, and they treated me real nice. But I really want to share something, what I would share to young people and couples. What you need to understand, over this 30 years, me and this woman has been on this trip. There has been ups and downs. At some points, she has had to carry the load, and at points, I have had to carry the load. We alternated according to what was necessary and what we needed to get done in our family. I've been a man, she's been a woman. We've been together. We've raised these 5 kids. So now that my kids are grown, it's a different space for us to operate now. So I just have to encourage you guys to, you just starting out in the relationship. Think of that 30 years, y'all. I was 20, got married, started having kids. I stayed out of a lot of trouble because I didn't want to get in trouble and be from the home because I had kids. But we all know what the streets was and how you could go out there and do this and do that. But what I'm saying, man, you might get hurt and can't work. She might get hurt. She might have some difficulties talking, or you talking. You can't get the job you want. You lose jobs. We know how we treat it when we don't have our own. And I'm telling you, as a person who has walked this thing 30 years with this one woman, man, you're going to have ups and downs in your relationships. And just like what we're doing, it's about communications, communicating what we want. And I tell my sons, with his relationships with their ladies, man, you got to be able to tell that woman what you want. A closed mouth does not get fed. If he can't tell his woman what he wants and what he needs, he's going to always have some problems. And my daughters is the same way. I don't tell them as much because I never had a sister, so I'm not as finesse with the ladies. But I do tell my daughters, it might be bad, but I tell my daughters, whoever you choose, whatever young man you choose, support his dream. Because that's what I needed. I needed somebody to support me. My mama told me I was going to get a helpmate, you know, old Bible stuff. But I don't know how you think of it. But that's how I think of it. Me having a helpmate as we get older. Because my single mother that's been single while she raised her 2 children, boys, and her oldest son has passed and it's just me, she's all alone right now. And she look at me like, oh, you've been married 30 years. She been alone that long. So I encourage you guys to really stay with this communication with us as a group and as a family. But also you men, your family, your sons, they need you. These ladies are telling you that they need you. But what I am telling you, fellas, there's going to be ups and downs over a long relationship, just like the stock market. All the stuff is the same. It's going to be ups and downs. But can you weather the storm? That's the key. And to do that, we have to stay in constant communications. That's my piece.
Yeah, it's always good to have an elder come drop some wise words to calm everything down. You know, something that I'm hearing the sister saying about protecting their femininity. I can't even get the word out of my mouth right. That I'm realizing something the Bot was saying as far as you know, the roles, and it's seeming like the roles is being changed. You know, that's why I asked the question earlier when I was talking about when you have different people doing different things, and I was saying sometimes you'll blur the lines because you don't want your children to see, you know, fathers doing certain things or mothers doing certain things, because it seems like we have a balance and we have to stay balanced, right? So the man has certain things that they supposed to do, and the women has certain things that they supposed to do. But in a unit, you work together. That's just like any other, like the car, right? You got different parts of a car, but each part has a particular job that they do so the car can keep running. And that's what a unit does. In a unit, everybody work together to accomplish the goal. So one thing, and I try to stay balanced, so I'm not trying to place blame here or there. But one thing that I do know is this: the Black women, the man you want is gonna be the like men gonna be whatever y'all want us to be. So if you want Black men to be nerds, we're gonna be nerds. Like, and this is where it comes down to without, and I'm not trying to pass judgment, but I'm just being real. Like, if Black women stop dating men that are no good, or men that don't have jobs, or not trying to find work, or that's not actually looking to better themselves, trust me, the men are going to start trying to better themselves. But it's like you have a lot of people now that are accepting men that are not really being men. And what it does is breeding. You have a lot of different factors that's breeding this. You have the single mothers raising the men. So a lot of men are very effeminate. So you have that. Then you have fathers not being in the home. Like you said, they see their mothers always working, or their grandparents always working. So now they expect their mate to do all the working. But how all this ends is, if women stop dating these men that's not out here trying to provide, trust me, things will change. And as men, we have to start holding our brothers accountable that's within our circle. That if I know if I got a homeboy that I deal with, and all he talk about is his old lady out to work, he's sitting at home all day playing the PlayStation, like it's my job to talk to him about that. I have to hold him accountable to make him understand, then, like, you need to change. Or if you're not trying to change, then there's no need for me to associate with you, because I don't want to associate with scumbags, or I don't want to associate with deadbeat fathers. That's just not who I want to associate with. And so that's why I think we have to start holding people accountable ourselves as men. And at the same time, women have to stop accepting these deadbeat niggas. And and it is what it is. Until stuff like this start happening, you're gonna have these lines that continue to be blurred. And you're gonna have unsatisfied women that are saying they're gonna go to the other race, possibly. But let me tell you something, them same deadbeat dads are in them other races also. They're in the same race. The deadbeat dad syndrome ain't just African Americans. This is in all different races. But the point is, the women, to me, the women are in control of what the men do. Because whatever y'all decide that y'all want, that's who we gonna become. So if women only want warriors, trust me, we all want to become warriors. Julie, you got your hand raised. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I think we have to have a look at the dating process then. What are we doing wrong when we meet partners? I remember there's a guy, he's a marriage guidance counselor, and he said, don't come to me when your marriage is broken down for counseling. It's already too late. You should have come for counseling at the beginning. You start your marriage with counseling. So for me, this is my personal story. I didn't date my husband. I didn't date him at all. The first date we went on, we knew we were getting married. The spiritual connection was so deep that he didn't even ask me to marry him. He went and booked it and we got married. Do you understand? And I will say the same to my daughters. I'm not interested in dating. You need to know if that connection is there, that spiritual connection is there from the very beginning. Dating for me is a waste of time. It's just try before you buy. And that could last 10 years. And, it's a waste of life. So I think we need to have a look at the dating process. What are we doing? Do we understand what a good man looks like? Or a good woman looks like? Do we understand that? Or are we just checking somebody out until they, I don't know, you decide, maybe they're all right, I'll marry him, he's okay, I'll settle, or, something like that. We need to know from the very beginning. I don't think you can judge a man by his job either. Just, I'll tell you my story again. When I met my husband, he was 40 years old, earning a minimum wage job, but I knew he was the right man. By 6 months' time, he was a manager of a cluster of a business. So, a cluster of gyms. He was the manager within 6 months. So his job went from minimum wage care job to a managerial position of a cluster of gyms. And that's because we met. Our spirits were, we were meant to be together. So he just progressed instantly.
Hey, can I chime in
Listen,
on what that sister?
Someone's talking.
I just wanted to chime in on what you said, and it's about mindset. What people don't understand about me being married 30 years, listen to this. My best friend introduced me to my wife. I didn't even find her. A friend, man, guys don't do that. You ain't introduced a girl, to your friend, so I agree with her. It was like a mindset for me, and a friend who confirmed, man, I found you a good one. And this is in the country, man. I'm in the city. I found you a good one, and I met her, and I met her family, and I knew that was the family I wanted to get with. So I agree. You have to make that connection, and if you can't recognize it, or a friend can't point it out to you, you probably will never see it.
Well, let me just piggyback on when he said us as Black women too, because we're sitting up here and we're saying Black men are this or Black men are that. But us female too now, we need to take some blame and some owning up to accepting and sitting there after we figured it out. After you figured it out. Now it's okay. Yeah, you're dating her, you didn't know, you didn't, even if you had those expectations, things happen, people change, all those things. But once we figure out that, there's no movement, there's no motivation, there's no strive, it's just like we're just here, then you need to do something about it. Like, why are we comfortable? Why are we so comfortable in accepting? And why? Is it because we scared to be alone? So just be like, you know what, even though he doesn't work, or he doesn't want to work, or he doesn't want to, support his family, he rather stay home. Why are we accepting that? So that also goes back to what we were talking about, dating outside of your race. Sometimes people are scared of doing that as well. So they, are just scared of being alone totally. So it's like, you know what, I know he's not the best for me, but at least I'm not alone. I'm coming home to someone. We need to stop that. We really need to put our foot down. And if we see that, I believe in giving chances now. I believe in having a sit down. We talk about it. I let you know, my expectation of things and everything like that. And we come to an agreement and we make it work. But after so many talks and stuff like that, you're just going to be like, you know what? This is it, because it doesn't even make any sense for us to just sit there and just accept this and be comfortable with it. So we have a lot too as well. We have some of the blame to take on that. I mean, not me personally, because I'm not going for that at all. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying you're innocent. You're outside of this. You're not the problem.
No, I no, because I know what I will and will not accept, and that's just not it. Now, when the gentleman said that, what if someone get hurt, like, the wife get hurt or the husband get hurt, like, we understand that, like, things can happen. And I'm willing to ride out the storm when these things happen. Life is not perfect. We can't predict tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. You understand me? So yeah, if my husband was to get hurt today, and I have to carry the burden, I'll be okay with that. Because you know what? I knew when he was on his feet, he was a great provider, a great family man. And I know once he get back on his feet again, the journey will continue. So, we just need to, I'm not sure if anyone saw that movie with Taraji. I forgot the name of the movie. So she got married to like a high school sweetheart. She met the guy, not high school, when she was in college, and he was working on that battery thing.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. I know what you're talking about, though.
Right. Right. And I learned a lot from that movie as well, because look at how it played out. I understand where both parties was coming from. This young man believed in his invention. He believed in it solely. So he did not work. He stood at home. She was working. Her mom had passed away and left the house, and she had some money in the bank and so forth. But, you know, that was being ran through because it was just her and he wasn't working and so forth. Now, to make a long story short, you know, the sisters and the family, you know, they got into involved in the relationship as well, all in her ear, like, you need to divorce him, you need to let him go, this is ridiculous, you guys are losing everything and so forth. But at the end of the day, his battery was a hit. When I say his battery was a hit, it was a hit, and he became a multimillionaire. At that point, she already had signed the divorce paper, um, and everything like that. They had lose the mother's house that she left them, and so when the battery became a hit, you know, he felt so bad because he really didn't want to sign the divorce paper or anything. So he tried one more time to, can we make this work? No, 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 no. So he purchased the house back for her. He did get that. He did give her some money, but he moved on with his life. And when I tell you, she was a nervous wreck. She started stalking because all the dream that they had together, everything that they had and planned together, now he was, with someone else carrying out that dream. And it just goes to show you. But I understand from where both parties was coming from. He believed in his battery, but at the same time, life was happening. Bills was piling up. She was stressed out. They were losing their home. It was just all, it's crazy. But yeah.
Anybody want to say something before I say something? Hello, can y'all hear me?
Go ahead. That's you.
First, let me say this: to all the black women that's listening to this, or anybody who may feel like they've been wrong. As a black man, I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself and anybody who has the mentality that I have. I apologize. I am so sorry that you have to go through what you're going through. You having to give up, so much of yourself, and sacrificing things that you shouldn't have to sacrifice, So I apologize for that. And I wish I could change it as a whole, but I can't. But just know sincerely that I'm sorry. And for all the black women who have and still are, doing your best, raising families as single mothers, and probably been whatever has happened to you, I appreciate everything that you've done. So I appreciate you and I love you. And also, with that being said, there's no woman on this planet for me outside of a black woman. And there's no disrespect to anyone who want to date anybody. To each his own. I don't pay your bills. I don't run your household. I'm not a part of your universe. If you want to date outside your race or whatever you want to do, that is on you. That ain't none of my business. So I ain't knocking that. But to the black woman, know that this black man, I have love for you, and all them simps or whatever that you have dealt with. Every black man ain't like that. Because I can tell you, my mama didn't raise me that way. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by a woman. A lot of women, I had uncles, but it's the women in my life, who had 90% of the raising in me. So look, I love you all. I apologize for all the wrong that you've been going through. And with that being said, know that there are strong ones out here. You know what I'm saying? All of us are not what you have seen. Don't let the media and TV fool you. And I know sometimes people amongst your circle may not be the best type of men, but it's a lot of lot of good black men out here. And black men are really, really, really dope. You know what I'm saying? And black women are dope too. But we dope, and so don't give up on us. Keep fighting for us. And I know you're tired, but keep fighting for us. We got you. And every black man ain't gonna sit back and watch you, take a handful of groceries to your car by yourself. Some of us would say, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not trying to hit on you. Do you mind, if I help you with your groceries? So all of us are
They
not
don't do
like
that here. They don't do that here. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm saying, like, I do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna go and say everything that I do, because it's, I have to let everybody know the things that you do every day for people. But all I want to say is that there's a lot of great black men who run companies, who are doctors, who take care of their family, either if they're with their baby mama or they're not with their baby, whatever. And I know I can name them off the top of my, I ain't finna, put their names out on the internet, but I know a lot of great black men. I'm talking about exceptional black men. So
I believe
anyway,
you. I
that's my
believe you.
piece.
I believe you. I went through the thorns before I got to my rose, and I got my rose right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
you put in
you
10
know, he's a.
years. She was
I'm
in a
sorry.
10-year relationship, guys. She was in a 10-year relationship before the last year the guy asked her to marry her. And she said no. And now she has her husband.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
because I just felt like that was that was just another stick around. Let me just put this engagement ring on to hold
Right.
you for 10 more years. You know what I mean? But I'll peep that real quick. But I agree with you. There's a lot of good black men out there. I am not saying that all black men are this and all black men are scrub and they don't want to work. And that's not what we're saying. But it's more of them than the good ones. I'm telling you, it's very hard to find a decent and not only we because we touch on the subject about them working and everything like that, but that's not the only thing. It's good to find an honest one as well, one that's honest and I'm looking for a woman to settle down with, and that's just what they're looking for. Now, oh, I'm gonna tell you this so I can get in bed with you or to get a certain point with you, and then so it's really good to find a good one overall. Yeah, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I do understand that, but what we're saying is that what I'm saying is I think there's more of the not so good one than the good ones, but there's really a good, decent black man out there. And I didn't stop. I didn't let the few that deter me away from, like, oh, I'm just gonna go date outside my race and everything like that. It feels good to know that my husband is from back home as well, because we connect, we laugh, we talk, we can relate to a lot of stuff because we're from the same place, we're from the same culture, everything like that. So not saying again that if you come from a different cultural background you can't connect and be great as well, but I'm just saying that it's a plus when in that sense and stuff like that.
And that goes to the point of exactly what you said goes to the point of why I'm so stressed on dating inside of my race. Because of exactly what you just said, your husband come from your culture. So it's a lot of things that just culturally y'all bond out. Right. And even though African Americans have different type of cultures, because we all have different cultures, depending on how you raise. But like can you imagine being dating outside of your race with what's going on in the world today? When you're looking at some of these polarized situations that's happening, can you imagine the conversations that's going on in some of these people's houses? I'm guessing some of them is okay, but like, can't nobody hold a black woman down like a black man, because we've been through the ringer together for so long. The pain runs deep with both of us. And, we have to use that pain and turn it into something positive. You got to take that negative and turn it into something positive. So that's why I'm very big on dating within my race, by all means necessary. Now, I'm very big on that. And I think that, I don't want to say you can't do it, but, it's just a lot of reasons I can say why, but I'd rather not. We'll say that for another. I see, Julie, you got your hand raised. You want to say something?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear
Hello,
you.
can you hear? Right. Dating within your race means not much, because you can date a black man and have nothing in common with him because he's of a different culture. So for me, the spiritual connection needs to be there for it to work. Like my aunt, she's married to a white man. They've been married for, I don't know, 50 years. I can't imagine the racism they've gone through, but they're still together. And at this age, they're about 70 now or so. they have to go through this racism, well, seeing this racism again, but they're still together. It doesn't bother them. And I can't see my aunt with anybody else but that man. That man loves her like cooked food. It's her best friend. He's a white man, she's a black woman, but that's her best friend. And I would not, even when I got married, I went to her for marriage guidance, because if they can make it, anyone can make it. So it's not so much dating within nah. It's not, nah. You can't place an emphasis. Nah, no, 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 no. Like me, I was married before to a Nigerian man. No, there was just no similarities. He's a black man, but he was still, the way he spoke, like I've said it before on other shows, when he had no other way to cuss me or argue with me, no reason to argue with me, he used to look at me, because I'm Jamaican, and he used to say, I know you. You don't know yourself. We sold you. You were the rubbish in our country. What kind of, he's a black man.
Wow.
Well, you know, that's what he used to say. So I'm not
Just,
going to place emphasis on race. No,
but
no,
Julie,
no.
just like you can find instances of it working, you can find instances where it don't work also. You know, so I mean that's here or there with me. When you can point out an instance of a black man and a white woman that survives, you can point instances where they don't survive also. So I mean that's give or take. But what I'm talking about is the human survival is to to survive. That's how nature is surviving. So if you want to big up your race, or everybody ain't race conscious. You get what I'm saying? So everybody is not race conscious. So I don't expect somebody that is not race conscious to look at it from a point of view of somebody that is race conscious. Everybody have their own point of view on doing things. But for me, I love the black woman. And it don't get no better. Even with her flaws, even with the things that I like and don't like, it don't get no better than that with me. So I can look at other races, but ain't nothing like that black woman to me. And to each his own. So when you talk about the cultures, that's why I said, in African Americans, like we have cultures, but we also have the way we've been raised within our culture, and that also dictates what type of culture you have. So, like with the Nigerians, which I remember, Julie. You know, I remember now. I remember Julie. I remember now. I remember your first husband and some of the stuff he was taking you through. You know, but that ain't. You can't paint that broad brush on everybody. That you had a bad instances, and now
No,
you
no,
with
no.
another. But now you with another brother, and it's perfect. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, I'm big on staying with them. Judah, did you date outside your race?
Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
Oh man, I thought you didn't do it. You lied to me,
Well,
Judah.
well,
You lied
look,
to me.
I just want to add as well. My sister's also. It's not about. It's about the spiritual connection, because my sister's husband is also Nigerian, and I wouldn't choose a better man for my sister. You can see their connection is tight. So it's about the connection rather than the color, it's about the connection for me. That it's the most important thing.
Well, when you say, you wouldn't put emphasis on dating, within your race, I think it's more so like, okay, so the guy that I was with for over 10 years, I'm from Jamaica, he's Puerto Rican, okay? Because we loved each other at the time, and you know it was easy for us, yes, to find, that bonding where we can relate on things, and we had fun, movies, everything like that, because he don't like Jamaican food. He don't like Jamaican food. He likes some things in Jamaican food. So like when I cook, and if I want curry chicken and he don't like curry chicken or eat curry chicken, I have to then prepare something else for him that he likes, which is okay. But who wants to do that all the time, right? That kind of get tiring at a point. Okay. And then as far as the culture, the music and stuff like that, he didn't go in deep like that. You understand? So we find other ways to kind of connect and so forth. But with my current husband, we're able to relate all across the board. I can be like, babe, did you hear that song Vibes Cartel just put out the other day? And we laughed and we talked about it, and you know what I mean? Like it's just it's not putting the emphasis, it's just that connection, that bond that brings you so much closer. Like I could be like, babe, you remember when we used to go to school and back in the day they used to sell this in front of the school and it was so good. You remember them beef? Like it's just so much. It's just so much that we can relate, we can laugh about, we could talk about. I remember in 2014 when I went back home to visit, and at the time he was still there, and I'm like, hey, I never been to Ocharias. Yeah, I'm from Jamaica, but I could say I never been to Ocharias. I'm like, listen, that's where I want to go for my birthday. I want to go to Ocharias or whatever. He's like, okay, let's do it. We went down there, and when I tell you, the room that we had everything. It was like a mini apartment, right? And we didn't turn that TV on not one time. Not one time. We enjoyed each other company so much, from the beach back to the room. We just vibing and cooling. So I think it's more of, like I said, that bond, that comfort level that this person is really relating. The guy before that, he could relate to me on my upbringing, on my growing up, or nothing. He knows nothing about Jamaica. That's okay. I'm not saying, that's not the reason why our relationship didn't work, because like I said, we were able to connect and find other things and stuff. I listen to R&B and music like that and stuff like that. So we were able to still relate musically wise and so forth. There's Spanish food that I absolutely like, that we were able to relate on that because, I like it as well. So, but what I'm saying is, me and my husband have a far better bond, closer relationship than me and the previous guy did, based on the fact that, he's from Jamaica as well.
I think you guys were just meant to be together then. You were just meant to be. Yeah. My sister, I can't say it's just strange because she's more African than her Nigerian husband, and he's more Jamaican. He's the one listening to the Vibes Cartel, and she's the one listening to Whiskey or whatever, Afro beats. So they were just meant to be together. I can't see my sister with anybody else, even though he's Nigerian. She cooks the pounded yam. I eat the pounded yam. My husband eats the pounded yam. He's Jamaican as well, but we don't eat just Jamaican food. We eat African food. It's just strange. Yeah, the connection. It's not a cultural connection between me and my husband. No, it's not. It's deeper than that. It's spiritual. It is.
So you don't
And
feel
same
no
with my
way at
sister.
all. You don't feel no way at all, like, I don't know how much he knows about your culture, but you don't feel no way at all, like, to relate to him a scenario, and he might understand where you're coming from, as a person, but not deeply to the fact that, he really knows. You don't feel you don't feel no way about that.
No, I did. When we met, like I says, the day we met, we knew we were getting married. I didn't need to know his family background. I did not need to know. No, we just knew that we knew that we knew. And by 6 months, he'd booked the wedding, and 4 months later or 5 months later, we were married. And it was only 6 months because he was ill when I met him. He just fell ill he had glandular fever, but he didn't know. So it takes about 6 months, So
it was that Gawana song.
Yeah, our wedding was he's Jamaican, but we had the wedding was more African. So I don't know. I don't know.
So hold on a minute. So your husband is Jamaican and you're from Africa.
No, I'm Jamaican.
No, you're Jamaican, and so he's from Africa.
No,
He's from Jamaica as
No.
well.
yeah.
It seems
Okay.
like Jamaicans find each other, don't they? Don't matter where you go, you guys find your mate from your country.
Hey, so that's what I
Yeah,
was
but he's
gonna say.
English. He's born here. So he's Jamaican parents. He's born here.
Oh,
Okay.
So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But check
same difference. He was raised, by his parents. I'm pretty sure, a lot Jamaican parents are very strong-willed when, raising their kids, in the culture, even though they were born here. Because I speak patois to my kids all the time. Someone just asked me the other day, like, do they understand what you're saying? Yeah, they do, because they hear it in the household since they were born from both their father and me. So they may not able to speak like, fluently like how we do, but they can comprehend what we're saying. They understand what we're saying when we do speak like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, my husband is proper English. Proper English. If you heard him speak, you wouldn't even know he's a black man, to be honest. No, he's very English. But I don't know. It's not a cultural connection. It's spiritual. Because if it was down to culture, I don't think me and him would have met. Because he's very English, extremely English. Extremely English. Frightens me. you know.
I don't know. Maybe it's an island thing. I ain't gonna say too much else though. But maybe it's something from those from the islands, because I have heard certain stuff. But it's good to find your mate though. At all costs, it's good to find that special person that makes you whole, regardless. And we want to make sure that we make sure we focus on our Black family though. That's all. We got to stay Black. Shay, do you want to get in here? You want to say anything, Queen?
I did earlier, but not right now.
You sure?
I kind of forgot.
It ain't never too late now.
right.
Yeah, but I wanted to jump in on a comment that was made earlier, but I forgot now.
Okay, then. Well, if it come to your mind and come back, let me know. But y'all, I think it's been a good show. What I want to do, I'm ready to wind down. I got stuff I need to take care of, so I want to, give y'all the chance to give y'all final statements, what y'all think. Let people know how they can find you. But hold on. Before we do that, solution. We got to get solutions. We got to hit solutions. We have to come up with solutions, I guess, for the problem, as far as Miss Katina and Coletta and Natasha.
Colette, not Letta.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Miss Colette. Well, I'm gonna just say, how about this? I'm gonna say we need to come up with solutions for what the sisters were saying as far as the problems that they're running into with Black men. So I said it earlier, but then nobody paid me no attention. So I'm gonna say it again. And I'm not being what's the word? I'm just being real. Polygamy is the answer. I think that really is the answer. If the man is able, like, for one, if you can't take care of one woman, it's no way that polygamy is going to work for you. So that has to be made clear. Like, if you can't handle one woman, there's no way you can handle two. But for those women that are feeling, before you date outside the race, I think it's best to get into a polygamous relationship. Because if it's a shortage of good,
Who wants to share penis? I don't want a penis in me that's been in 4 other women. I'm not doing that.
What would be the point of that though? Like if to do that, right? And if I could eliminate that process and do it on my own, why not?
Right.
So again, maybe you have to look up polygamy and understand what the purpose of a polygamous relationship is. And
Yeah, but
looking
that's one with many wives, right? So you're not the special only wife. That's like 4 or 5 wives, and you're required financially to be able to support all of them. So 90% of Black men are not going to be able to do that. But who wants to share?
okay, see now, okay, so in other words, you want to be selfish then. If you don't want to share, you want to be selfish. What about the sisters that don't have a man? It don't matter. You're not looking at the bigger cause of the race. You're not
sisters
you're not
that,
you're not
the sisters that don't have man can go and find a
hold on,
white
hold
man
on.
or something.
You're not gonna put your race first. You're just gonna look out for yourself.
What's the race thing?
So now we're just gonna be selfish. And as long as I got mine, I'm good. But my sister who can't find a man because all the other men is gone, we don't care about her, right?
She better go to Thailand and find an Asian, because I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing.
It just seems highly unlikely. It seems highly unlikely in a world where we have one African American family where the male is barely able to pull it off with one.
Right.
So how could we entertain multiple on a realistic level?
They can't financially.
Maybe again, when you're talking about being financially secure, apparently the ones that y'all feel like, or I ain't gonna say y'all, but the ones that is at the level wherein some want the man to be, they are taken, right? But that means financially that they are stable enough. But you gotta understand, like love, let me think of some of these words. How do I want to say this? When you look at like trust,
No,
you know,
not with women.
hold up, listen, with trust is multiple meanings to the word trust. So you can look at trust from a financial standpoint, or you can look at trust as far as from a relation standpoint, right? When you look at friendship, help me out in the back. I'm trying to get all these terms. Like all these are financial terms that we use for relationships. They also go into financial terms. So when you understand the polygamy and if you want to talk about the African.
No, is that just one way or two way? So it can be reversed?
If and right now in the pygmies, the women have multiple husbands because in their culture right now, the men have lost, the women outnumber the men, and also the men, because they're being forced out of their land, their morale is very down because now they're forcing them out of their homeland. So now the women have multiple husbands. So it's based off on what's best for the race. That's the way I look at it.
And is these people raising children as well?
The pygmies are, yeah. Now, don't get me to tell you exactly how they're doing it, but I read up on it because this is something that's going on right now as we speak. But traditionally, polygamous relationships was for a reason. It wasn't just so that the man can have multiple wives. That wasn't the purpose. The purpose was for you don't have these children or these women out here that's not being taken care of, not just sexually. We're talking about being a father figure for the children. We're talking about making sure that these women are secure and safe in their home. Like for men to be that provider for them. So polygamy originally is not meant just so men can sleep with multiple women. Now, when we think of it from an American point of view or a Western point of view, that's the first thing we think of because we think sexually when we think of stuff. But you look at from an African point of view, it's not sexually. That's why you can go to tribes in Africa where the women don't even have on bras, the breasts be out. But the men don't look at them like they want to rape them and touch them because they don't look at them like the way we look at things over here on the Western point of view, right? But for a shortage of men and a surplus of women, if you seriously want to do what's best for the race, you have to think about it.
Absolutely not.
No, we entertain the idea of
absolutely not. Jermaine will be buried somewhere in the backyard.
So let me ask y'all a question. So let me take y'all down. let me ask
stepping up
y'all a
to the
question
plate.
then.
That's not
Let me ask y'all.
healthy at all in
Let
life.
me ask y'all a question. Let me ask you a question then. I'm gonna ask y'all a line of questions to see how y'all answer these questions, right? So let me ask, my first question I want to ask you is, if somebody is hungry and you have extra food, are you willing to feed that person or you let them be hungry?
Depends who
Of
they are.
course, I'm gonna feed that person.
Okay. All right. If somebody walking down the road, right, and their car broke down and they ask you for ask you for a ride, are you gonna give them a ride?
No.
No.
Okay. Even if you know the person, not as a stranger. I ain't talking about a stranger. I'm talking about
no,
somebody you know.
yeah, absolutely.
You'll give them a ride. Okay, so
Absolutely.
if somebody you know don't have clothes, right? Let's say their house burnt down and all their clothes burnt down.
I see where you're going. We are
Yeah,
not sharing the same
would you be
husband.
willing?
Right.
Hold on. Would you be willing to allow that person to borrow some clothes or something?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
Mister.
only when feelings are attached, that's when you say you're not going to share.
You
You're not going to
cannot
help out.
compare
How
a
are
car
you
ride,
I'm gonna
food,
tell you why.
and
We're talking
clothing
about
to someone sleeping in the same bed with my
Yeah,
husband.
right.
You
because
cannot compare that with food, clothing, and a ride.
Y'all hear me out here. Hear me out now.
I'm about to throw up in
Listen.
my hand and then eat it and throw it. I
Listen,
cannot.
yeah, my point is what I'm saying is this, man. If you want to do what's best for your race or humanity, some people say humanity, because even if you look at the numbers, not just of race based, if you look at men and women in general, across the board, it's more women than men across the board.
So
No, it's a myth. It's a myth. That's not true.
Don't make me
It's
listen.
not.
I got you.
No,
Listen.
no,
I got Google
no,
right in front of
no.
you, and I can pull it up.
First of all, that same woman that you're gonna have compassion for to come in your house, in your bed with your husband, that's the same one that's gonna take you out. Okay, let me
Right.
tell you.
And
I
who
am
wants
here
to
to
sit
tell
like
you.
you?
I don't
How
understand
you
how is
down
that the
the line?
norm.
Like, no. Nobody listen, there's special people that will go with that lifestyle or whatnot. But when you feel like you are a special person, you want another special person and not 6 wives attached to that person. Like somebody has to be mentally prepared to get into something like that. That's not something somebody's gonna just jump into. I don't want to
And
see.
there you go. You hit it, but you hit it on the head. You're not just gonna jump into polygamy. And for one, your partner has to agree to it. So like it ain't something that I'm just gonna say, guess what? I want to have a polygamous relationship. This is something that you and your wife sit down and talk about. And if your wife is actually okay with it, then you move forward. The woman picks the other woman, you don't even pick her.
Let me ask you a question. Are you okay with it?
Okay, well, with polygamy?
Yes. Would you live that life would you live that type of lifestyle?
I would live a polygamous lifestyle, yeah.
See, that works for you. We're not going to convince you otherwise. Like, get out of that. This could happen. You're not financially ready. Like, we could say that to you, but that doesn't work for us. We think that we
I
are
think you're
unique
missing
women
the
and we're
point.
worthy of one man, not my man and his wives attached to him. That's too many people involved. No.
Yeah, I look at
I
us
think
as
you're missing the
race
point
in a whole.
of the there is not a large group of Black men that's going to be able to realistically pull this
Do
off
that.
either way you
Right.
put it, financially, or if he's just protecting. Like if that was the case, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. That it's a problem in our community now. So how again, like how can you take on multiple?
Exactly.
See, the problem,
We already short.
okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna just say this, that you know, it's a mindset. So if your mindset is against it, it ain't for you. So like you gotta understand how many people when it comes to relationships, they take stuff so personal. It's a personal attachment.
Good. A
So what that,
relationship is personal.
But
that's what
how
I'm saying.
is the
That's
Black
what I'm
man
saying.
going to
So
pull this off? That's
huh?
all I'm concerned about. Like, how is the Black man going to pull this off?
Right. Y'all are
You
not
have to,
financially astute enough to do that. You can't.
Wait a minute. Let me add in because y'all jumping all on Sarah Root. They about to tar and feather you, man. They got the oil ready and the feathers for the chicken, man. They about to drop a bomb on you, man. I understand where the sisters is coming from. You know, a lot of people, if you're not with it, you're not with it. And if you're not with it, that's cool. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Like, that's your prerogative.
Me personally, I'm not against it. I really want to know. I want to know how is the black man going to pull this off? Because I don't see that as far as what my experience is.
Okay, so you're saying from you're saying from your experience, and I will agree, majority probably will not be able to do so. Now, for me, I think it's to each his own. That's what you want to do. That's cool. If that's what you and your significant other decide not to do.
We're not shaming. We're saying that.
No,
right. I get what you're saying.
Reality for the majority.
I understand what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying is it is possible. You get what I'm saying? It's really not. It's not as hard as some people make it out to be. Okay, let me give you a situation. All right, so you say if the man is able to provide, that's if both people want to stay home. You know, if except for a man with two other people, that's if two other people want to stay home. All right, but most of the time now in today's world, you know, women want to go out, they want to go to college, they want their own business, to do their own things. You know, do you? So let's just say hypothetically, boom, you got this one guy. Let's say, for example, I don't know what the average person brings home a month. I have no idea. I'm just gonna throw out a number. Don't tar and feather me. Does anybody know the average of what somebody makes a month? Throw something to me. I'm right.
Average what? Black man?
Yeah, average amount. Say this black man. Say don't say he a McDonald worker. We're not going with a McDonald worker. I'm talking about he's doing okay for himself. How much is he making? Give me a number.
If he at least hitting 30, I would be surprised.
Yeah. 30,000? Oh, 30,000 is mighty. Oh, y'all low. Y'all is low. Come on,
exactly. That's how real it is out here.
Okay.
We make more money than you guys.
Okay. Oh, you make more money than some people, but not everybody. Okay, let's just say.
No, my husband definitely makes more money than me.
Okay, if we say $30,000, that's $30,000 is what, like $2,500 a month? Am I right? Or am I wrong?
That's not a lot.
Yeah,
okay, no. Wait a minute now. You got to follow along with me. Now, right. And so imagine if each person in that house at least made $2,000. That's $6,000.
I knew exactly that's where you were going. And when the young lady kept saying, I want to know how a black man is gonna pull it off, that's exactly how he's gonna pull it off.
No. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Wait, time out, pause. Don't kill me, please. Hey, look, I'm just don't. I'm a living being. Please don't shoot me down yet. That is one scenario. You all gave me the number, and what I said that is very low. But you always like, now 30,000. That's bet 30. That's what you all say.
That's the reality. Okay, cool. That's the reality of it.
Okay.
We speaking of reality.
Wait a minute. Yo, oh my God. Look, wait a minute. I put in what you all said. You all said this person making 30,000. Now, go to a different man. I specifically said everybody's not going to be able to do this. Now, I never said I'm for it. I never said I'm against it. If that's what you want to do, you pay your bills. Ain't none of my business. But let's just say this man I don't know whatever he does. Let's say this man is making $7,000 a month. Then it becomes a different. So now and then, okay, cool. Say making $7,000 a month, and you all can work. Your bills in the household to where your bills in the household. That's including food, gas, whatever it is. Let's say your bills totaling like what? Maybe $3,500.
Basic lifestyle.
Right. I don't think
basic, real basic. Basic. I don't see anyone.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me $7,000 is not enough to support that $7,000 a month? Is that what you're telling me?
If you're multiple families, exactly.
How low are we
children?
With children, how many females and how many children are we talking about?
I can tell y'all something.
Because you about to add the female income. Because now what we're
no. I'm not adding her fee. I already did what y'all did. I'm not adding the female income. Please don't shoot me. Please.
Wait, so all of them, the total. How many women involved with that $7,000?
See, I can't even talk. Y'all about I see you about to laugh. They gonna kill me, man. Look, all I'm saying is this. Look. Well, most people think, and I'm gonna make my point. So the guy, he makes $7,000 a month. Okay, boom. All I'm saying is this: most people, when they think about polygamy, the first thing their mentality goes to is towards sex. Now, let's remove. Now, I'm not saying sex won't happen because it probably will. I'm gonna agree with you what you ladies there. So you got me on that side. Now, I know people personally who make $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month, but they don't spend money. Wait a minute. But they don't spend money as if they make $6,000, $7,000 a month. No matter if you have any friends who are wealthy or people who are trying to get their finances in order, they don't live based on how much money they make. If somebody is making, I'm telling you what I do in my life. I can't, you know what I'm saying? And people I know, if somebody makes $7,000 a month, if that is me, I'm going to sit down with my significant other, and we're going to figure out a way. What are things we're trying to accomplish this year? How much stuff is going to, what it's going to cost? We're going to set our goals down. We're going to have a baseline income, because I'm going to go back to what you ladies said. Just in case if I lose a job or if something goes wrong, we have money and stuff set aside so that everything is okay. Then from that $7,000, if you have women around you that is smart, that because women, what they do is that they support a man and they uplift a man, and a man should do the same thing with a woman. Now that woman can say, okay, cool, we're making $7,000 a month. What can I do to invest in to help us increase our monthly income by $500, $1,000, et cetera, et cetera? You now have not only one brain, you have two brains, or you have three brains combined together. And say, what? Okay, you can say no. I'm just saying I understand both sides. If that's not for you, that's fine.
Don't you think for you, that's fine. Though, in a positive way, you're pushing that. You're pushing it like, hey, ladies, just get you that one guy that makes 100K and share it. No,
I just don't see the point of teaming up with somebody to do something I can do on my own. Like when you team up with multiple people in the house, that's a headache, love or not. Okay,
that's a whole lot of headache.
As a woman, so I could take that and do that on my own and not have that headache and move around as I please, just like men do.
That's a whole headache, and it takes a certain type of passive woman to allow that.
We gotta be incentive for this.
And did you hear the statement that he made, that most of those relationships is really in it for the sex?
What?
Listen, but I'm saying, listen, if you were to study polygamy and study how polygamy works, the first wife has all the power. The first wife picks the second wife. And the first wife, she picks the second wife based off what she is not strong in. So if the woman that you're married with, she have a weak point, the purpose of her picking a second wife is to correct the house, to make the house strong in all areas.
Why don't you just find a woman that has all those qualities and stop?
I mean, that's why I said it's not for everybody. But I'm just talking about once you get into polygamy, those that does this, right? Those that actually practice polygamy, it's to complete the family. It's not to take away from one woman. The woman picks somebody that adds on to the situation. It adds on to the situation for the whole complete family. And I think that, a lot of people dismiss polygamy and actually never actually read and looked into it to see how it actually works. It's a reason why in Africa, they have been practiced polygamy for a long time.
I just feel like it's another way of satisfying your cheating.
I'm very familiar with polygamy.
It's another way to cover up and satisfy your cheating condition, because
I cannot. What's the benefit of you getting your bills paid? Everybody has good credit, but the man is dipping out when he pleases. Can you imagine that? He lives in Atlanta, and then, hey, babe, I'm going to go see my second wife in Chicago. Have fun, babe. See you later. See you in 2 months. Like, come on. No. Because what that woman should do is find herself another man. Let him go play in the fields and then be like, we need to separate, and then get you your Will Smith and live your best life. But collectively, no, I'm not big on sharing.
For African Americans, I think it's something to look. If the women outnumber the men, I would say that you know what, women deserve to have multiple husbands. If it was reversed,
is this a fact? Is this a fact? Do you got numbers on this? Is this a stat?
Yes, I have numbers.
You know what I mean? People.
I share my screen.
More women than men. Can you please share that with me? Please share that with me.
Especially in America, you got to look at the amount of men that's incarcerated. So you have to add that into the number. You have to add the alternative lifestyles. So you got to add the men that now going to the alternative lifestyles. Say that again.
No, I would tell the women, if you're having a problem with men, do a 90-day fiance thing. Like, go find a black man in another country and bring him over to your country and do it. You don't want to step outside of the race. But
Yeah,
if
a
your
lot of
country,
times, but a lot of times the black men from the other countries, they just want the green card.
yeah, I believe that too. But we're not. Let me tell you something right now. My
So,
opinion.
so,
This is
so,
not
so
once
the black man get his green card from Africa, and then he get his family over here, he no longer gonna want you. So we gonna get another one to do the 90 days all over again and
you
keep
might have
doing it.
to. Yeah, because right now, African American men are not winning, not financially, not their mentality. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm totally with being with black people. Before my daughter, looking at the class of young men that were in her class, the way young people act right now. If my daughter brought home a white man, and this is just something I just came across in 3 months. If my daughter had a choice to be with a white man that has a good job and there's security in that, and then I'm not going to have her go stay with that black man where she's going to struggle, because black men have not shown much of a change of advancement in decades. And so if she
Facts.
chooses
And
to
I,
be
and I
with
don't
a
think
black man, I can't tell her no. I can't
Oh,
do it
wow.
because it's going to
I
make her struggle.
agree.
Oh, wow.
Even
Yeah, wait a
even if
minute.
you
I strongly
put
agree
yourself,
on that.
even if you
Oh,
put yourself in the category
Hello,
of a good
hello.
black man, you gotta
uh-uh.
notice what's
Oh
going
my
on
No.
goodness.
around you.
Wow.
No, wait a
You
minute. I
gotta
can't.
see
No.
Wait a
what's
minute.
going on
Pause.
around you.
Pause.
It's,
Pause.
it's
Come on now.
not
Come on.
Pause.
Are you serious right now?
Black,
She's dead serious.
Come on.
She's
Oh my.
dead
You know.
serious.
Oh man. That's like. Come on, man.
listen to me. Listen to where I'm coming from. When I go to
You.
my daughter's
What?
events,
Oh my gosh.
when I volunteered for my degree, when I volunteered, I see and I've heard and I've sat down when parents had to be called in about their kids. Young black men are not the same as the way our fathers or grandfathers grew up. It's
Facts.
Neither are young white men. That what you said
hold
can be
on,
applied to
hold
any
on.
generation.
Hold on. I'm not going to tell my daughter,
Wow.
hey, Vanessa,
Wow.
this guy is, he's got education. He's nice. He treats you well. He treats you like a queen. And then there's that black boy over there who has no job. He hangs out in the corner, and I'm going to tell her, go with him because he's black. You got to be black and great for her to go to you. I'm not going to tell my daughter to take a step down just to satisfy the black race. She has an option to be happy and to have a good life, whether that man is black or white. I'm not going to send my daughter just because he's black and he's not doing anything to go with her. And I came across that this year. I'm not going to have black women settle for the black men that we have before us that aren't doing shit just
Uh,
because they're black. You have to be
Okay,
black.
who is that? Who's talking? Who's that? Who's that talking?
Hold up, man.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Master. Hold on.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the conversation is going somewhere else, and I don't want this conversation to go nowhere because it's headed somewhere wherein I feel like she's having a conversation with the wrong black men. The conversation that she's having, I think she need to get a different set of black men on the panel and talk to them. Because you're talking to the wrong people about this. And like I'm listening to y'all saying 30K. Nobody make no damn 30K a year. Like who? Like
The
I don't
the
understand this.
average
Are
black
you
Bro,
man,
serious?
the
Are you
Yes,
average black
serious?
yes.
man, you said,
I'm serious as a heart attack when I say that.
Listen,
I'm
listen,
serious
let
as a
me
heart
rally
attack
back.
when I say that.
Let me rally back on last
I
night.
think
Because
a
last
part
night,
a
hold on,
part of it
hold on,
is
hold
No,
on, just one
I
second,
feel
just
like
a quick second,
the
just a quick
conversation is
second.
going somewhere else, and I don't think maybe this show ain't meant for that conversation. How about that? Maybe we need to set up a show for that conversation. But I
Okay,
just think
yeah,
that
go ahead.
this show might not be for that conversation. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought up polygamy, because polygamy what led to this. So maybe we need to have a show about polygamy / men that ain't no good, that ain't working, whatever, and do it that way. But I just don't want this to deteriorate, and we go from a positive type of conversation to it seeming like we yelling at each other. But this is not what we want. Either you're a builder or you're a destroyer. Up here, we build. We don't try to destroy. All we trying to do is build.
I hope you're not implying that I'm trying to destroy
No.
anything.
Listen, I'm just saying I don't want it to look like we're going back and forth with each other, because that's
No,
what
we're not though. We're not.
and I want to
Everybody is just
apologize. first off, I need to apologize to y'all because I shouldn't have brought up polygamy. Because I felt like the energy of the conversation shifted once I brought up polygamy. So I'm going to apologize to y'all for bringing up polygamy. I apologize and I hope y'all forgive me because I was out of line to bring up polygamy.
Set.
Yeah.
First, let me say something. First, let me just master you. Look, everybody on this panel, I love you, and we all grown, and should nobody take nothing. Like it. One thing about us, we should be able to have a communication and agree or disagree or agree to disagree. And if you get loud when you talk, it's okay because you are amongst family, and you have the ability or the right to express yourself. So there's no need for you to apologize about bringing up polygamy. It's just some people is for it, and some people is against it. Am I right or wrong? What I just said?
Right.
Yeah, but also, the other thing is, I gotta go though. Remember, I was saying earlier that I had something I had to do, so I got a time period also. So it's all together, y'all. Trust me, I love y'all. I ain't mad at you, but I'm apologizing for another reason. The polygamy thing, I could have said something else besides polygamy, but I said that because I knew what the reaction was gonna be. To be real about it, right? So I was just pushing the flames, but I'm just taking that back because I shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, I think this is a good conversation. We can have it. I think we need to just end it for the night though, because it's getting like talking about these telling your. I got all daughters, by the way. Let me tell y'all something. I got all daughters. I don't have no sons. All my children are girls. So when we talking about dating outside of the race, I feel strongly different than the way you feel about telling your daughter to find somebody outside the race, but to each his own.
No, that's not what I said. I want to be very clear about that. And if I were to have my daughter here right now, she will tell you she can only bring home a black man. But what I'm saying to you, based on what I see now, that's not the type of man her dad would accept, my father would accept, or I would accept because of the way these boys are acting right now, the way you guys, I feel like you guys kind of live in a bubble because you don't see what we see. I see this every day, rather.
I see it, but I'm snatching these young niggas up. Like, yo, y'all better get y'all act together. Like, it's different.
Not only that, a lot of the guys who have themselves in a good guy category, that's not how we're seeing you. So, then we have that debate, which is a whole nother conversation.
It's different from you guys.
It's levels to this.
But let me ask you, I'm gonna say this real fast and I'm gonna get off. What the sister said, you said we live in a bubble. I travel for work. That's what I do. I travel. Okay. Wait. I'm in Texas. I'm in Atlanta. I'm in New York all the time. I'm in DC. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Virginia, et cetera, et cetera. I travel all the time with work. I work with people of all racial, religions, colors, backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera. So like, my sample population is not based on a small town or area or the place that I'm currently am at. I have seen both good black men and women and kids, and I have seen both bad. And I can argue that with any race. But I can also tell you this: when my kids go to school, it is a school that is a mixture of kids that go to that school. But let me just say this about whatever black men that you have seen, any black man that has whatever you have seen to give you the viewpoint of the black man, I'm sorry for that. Because I can tell you for
why haven't you seen it? It's rampantly all around.
No. Listen.
Exactly.
I
just guys are living in denial.
We should all be seeing the same thing.
Listen, what I said. I just agree with you. I agree with you.
All the women that you're talking to, I've lived in other countries, and I've been up and down the East Coast, a little of the West Coast, but mostly the East Coast. And trust me, I'm not just visiting. I'm talking about living in other countries. Okay, I'm telling you what I see collectively from the age of 18, because I wasn't even into dudes like that until I got 18 and I started looking cute. I know what I experienced when it comes to black men from up north all the way down south. So I don't want you, the way you guys talk and it's perceived to me is that I know you love black people. You have no idea how much I want our race to progress, but you have to understand that there are levels of frustration because you can't keep beating on a rock that never breaks. You at some point, you're going to be like, okay, whatever. I'm tired of doing this. And I'm tired of dealing with these trashy Black men, and they are up and down and all across the state and in other countries. So don't act like it doesn't exist, because you guys are presenting a tale and a vision of there's good Black men. I know there's good Black men. I see my dad and uncles, and I have good Black male friends. But when I say we look into the dating pool or we have interest in Black men, they are not where they're supposed to be. That is why statistically, Black women are doing better than Black men. And because we're so loyal to you guys, we're not getting married until we can find the right one. So this lady that you guys probably don't like, Crystal Carrison, I think her name is, she's telling Black women, stop dealing with bums and stop dealing with Black men that are not at your level or want to deal with you at a certain level. And if you want to have a marriage and you want to have kids in a life, you may have to step out. And you guys have to understand that exists. We're not trying to beat your brow and be like, oh, all Black men are trash and stuff, but you have to understand our experience as Black women. And this is what we're coming across. Some of us are married, some of us are not married, but this is what we come across.
Sister, if you listen to what I said was I have met both good and bad Black men, Black women. So I wasn't, what you were saying, I wasn't discrediting you. I was agreeing with you.
I don't want you guys to get this image of these are angry Black women. We're just telling you.
I understand what trust me, I get what you're saying. But what I'm telling you, and I understand, I know you, if you could just be tired, you have your viewpoint on life, and that's what you have. But I'm telling you, the schools, I also go into schools and I talk and I mentor with these kids. I see these Black fathers going, and some of them be saying how they raise their daughters, how they raise their kids, the kids that my kids play with. I know teenagers. I know a lot of them who are doing great things with their life. And I also know some who gangbang and do other stuff. And so when you said about you would tell your daughter to go with I don't know your exact words, but basically I'm not gonna tell her to go with no bum, with no bum nigga. Right. So what I would tell my daughter, what I would tell my daughter first is focus on yourself. And first of all, I don't raise my daughter to go after no bum, period. So no matter what race the dude is, if he a bum, if he approach you, he not like your data, so you ain't got the time of the day. You get what I'm saying? So I educate her on that. But when she get older, she, or my son, they pick who they want to pick. I just instill certain things into them, and I try to lead a certain way. And what I'm saying is, I know plenty of Black men who don't do what I do, and they, the kids do whatever they want to do. And I also know great Black men and women, to that matter, who raise their kids, and I see these kids going out doing great things, winning awards. Now, I'm talking about stuff in STEM, doing things in engineering. These kids are 14, 15, 16 years old. Kids going to college, Black kids getting full rides. I go to these colleges sometime and I talk and I speak, and I'm talking about these are great young Black people, both men and women. And so what I'm saying is this: I'm not discrediting what you're saying. All I'm saying is, for every bad that you see, trust and believe. There's some good ones out here too. And I'm sorry that you feel so tainted.
There's not enough to go around. I'm not saying that there's no there's no good Black men. I'm telling you, you've had your experience with the youth, and so have I. In this area where I reside, my daughter would be more likely for her to come across a bum than someone that is doing exceptionally well. There are more women than men. So if the time comes, I'm not going to tell my daughter to wait till she's 40 or 50 to find the best Black man. If she go out there and get herself a white dude, I'm going to have to deal with it. I tell my daughter every single day, please find a Black man, and preferably, because I want chocolate children and my daughter's very fair skinned, please find a dark skinned, good Black man. Guess what? Not going to be a lot of them going around. You're not going to find them like you think. You travel and you find these people in pockets. I can travel and find people in pockets too. But when my daughter starts looking for a Black man, what are the chances that she's going to get an engineer or a professor or something, whatever, average to good job? It's very low. You guys aren't even in school. When I went to college, when I looked around, you know what I saw? A bunch of white people, no Black guys in the master program, none.
Oh, I went to an HBCU, so I see tons of Black.
Right, so that's your experience. But I didn't go to an HBCU.
Yeah,
I went to a regular college.
And I was just at Hampton University. Everybody there was Black people with PhDs,
right, those are Black
men, Black women. You know what I'm saying? So
we don't have Black colleges up north, and I happen to like where I live. But guess what? When I go into class, there's not a lot of Black people, period, in the colleges. It just doesn't happen. This is reality.
Where do you live at? If you don't mind me asking.
I live in New York.
You live in New York.
Very close to Pennsylvania. Very close.
I just don't think you guys want to accept the fact that what we're seeing the percentage rate of Black men not doing good in America right now is very, very extremely higher than the ones that are. And that's
Right.
just point blank fact.
So
That's
that
it.
makes
And
it a
that's
smaller
all we're
dating
saying.
pool.
So therefore, the dating pool for that, for you to find someone that great and successful and great, it's very slim. It's small. It's small. We're not saying it can't happen, but it's small.
Right. And my
And
daughter
that's a
shouldn't have
fact.
to
If
travel to
if you
Atlanta to
look at
find
the
a man.
ratio of a black young woman in her 20s and already have a career, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, and then you look at the percentage rate for like a white male, same age in the 20s, and then you look at a Black male,
Big difference.
big difference.
Big.
Big difference if you look at the numbers. Big difference.
And
Big
it's not
difference.
only into the 20s. I've seen in many of cases where it goes up into the late 30s and 40s with a lot of Black men. So it's not just the young boy game. But
Yeah.
whether you have yourself in that category or not, even if you're the good Black guy, I feel where a lot of times y'all fail is to realize what's going on around you.
Right.
And you don't make good judgment based off of that. So I think opposed to women trying to consider polygamy, we should maybe entertain the idea of like, how can we help these young men and older men better themselves and be worthy enough for us, so we won't have to look.
Wow.
for other
How many years would you say a person should invest in trying to do that before they move along so they can start their life? Because women ain't having kids at 40. You know, people graduate from college and they're in their 20s, they're looking for their husband, they're trying to get their career set, and they're looking for somebody to spend the rest of their life with. We shouldn't have to take decades and decades to find that person. We'll be 60 with nothing. If you just want to stick with Black men, you will be 60 and alone with nothing.
And the reason why we rally back, I'm not sure if you the show from last night, how you guys were saying that, you know, in your community, Black people support each other in your community, you know, and I'm not saying that's not the truth, you know, but what I'm saying is like, you say you travel, you say you've been to Texas, Atlanta, all these places.
Right.
I cannot understand how can you
didn't
see,
see
well,
it,
you say
right.
you've seen the good and the bad, but we're not talking about just the good and the bad. We're talking about who outnumbers who, because
Right.
that's going to make a difference in finding someone great. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you
Can I
have
say one thing?
more bad guys out here that's not doing anything, wearing they clothes down to their ankle and just
Right.
not doing great, you know what I
You can't
mean?
blame them
And it's like the numbers is just is very small. It's a small pool, and that's the reason why that what we were talking about having many wives. That's how all of that come into play. That's how all of that come into play.
Can I say
But
one thing? Can I say one thing, y'all?
No, you're not allowed.
I'm always short and quick. I love y'all conversation. Both of y'all right.
This
I'm gonna be
Cam?
real with y'all. Yes, it's me.
Hi,
Yeah.
Just threw his name
Hey,
out there. Okay.
what's going on? I will listen to everybody. I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all right, women, and the men. Master, you're right too. You got good ones, you got bad ones, and as a race, we're failing because of lack of knowledge and we're away from our culture. That's my opinion. There's a outweigh of bad guys, and there's an outweigh of bad Black women too. Now we gotta go
Yes.
both sides.
Yes.
We're failing as a race of
Facts.
both genders,
Facts.
and
Facts.
gay
That's
Black people,
true.
and gay Black people. If you include them too, right? And the gay Black people failing because we're running away from our culture. We need to get in that bubble with people like us that's like-minded. We know it's out there, but we need,
But there's not
like
a
I
lot
said,
of you guys, right? So
right?
we
We
can't
need
meet up with people. We don't have anybody
people.
locally we can meet up with and say, hey, Katina, there's a nice looking man over there. He did the X, Y, and Z.
Hey,
That
can I be here? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I got muted, so maybe what I was saying it won't meant to be said. I'm listening to the conversation. I just had the chance to listen for a while without saying that, and I said earlier that we have to do better. Right? We have to do better as Black men. We have to do better. And remember, I said that we have to hold people that we see as Black men. We have to raise them up higher. So we have to make them do better also. So that's a must that we have to do better. But what it's like what I'm hearing is it's like go away. We're gonna go away. Like for one, with me traditionally, when you talk about degrees or like everybody meant to go to college, man. So like everybody ain't gonna go to college and get a degree. Some people just gonna be bosses. Some people just gonna work for themselves and build their own empire, whether if it's through social media, online businesses, or physical businesses that they actually up and running. But it's like what I'm hearing from y'all is like it's like I don't let me find the right word. It's like okay, you say that like when it comes to the numbers, I heard when it comes to the numbers, as far as African American men, African American women that have their degrees at a certain time. Now, obviously, it's a stat that came out that women are more educated than the black men right now, and it goes and I told you all this goes back to what the women is choosing. If the black woman is not going to settle for a dorky, a bum nigga, then I'm telling you, all the bum niggas gonna go away. So it seems like, just like I try to hold people accountable that I see that are not doing right. I think that, women have to hold other women accountable that are dating these bum dudes to make them understand that they're gonna get no love. Because I'm telling you, as long as the men that's not doing anything productive is still finding women that they can lay up with and take care of them, they not gonna change. So we have to make them change. I don't think going to the other race is the way to solve the problem. I think it may be a collective thing
You
wherein
can't make some. I'm sorry, you cannot change a person. You cannot make someone change.
when it comes to the black man, Dr. Ben, I don't know if y'all familiar with Dr. Ben Jocannon, but he says that heaven and is basically what he's saying is that black men are going to do whatever it takes to get the black woman. So whatever standards that the black woman put out, that this is the only way you're going to get us, the black men will meet them standards. So when you say maybe not force, but if a black man know that he can't find no woman unless he get out his lazy ass, get a job, or do something productive, they're gonna become productive. And I think that that's what I see. It's
Are you in
easy.
North Carolina?
You can find people in other races that are as qualified, especially when you're talking about the white man. America's a white man country. Like, I mean, the country is built for white men. That's what this country was built for. So obviously, it's gonna be white people that may have a. I don't want to say they have a. Yeah, you're gonna have white people that's basically just have better upbringing in a sense wherein, as far as the numbers are, we're talking about numbers game. You're gonna have more white men probably that's gonna be in their careers at a younger age or a little more stable headed or sturdier than you may have as black men, or because of the different situations that has arise. So I don't want nobody to suppress their happiness. But at the same time, I'm looking at, okay, race first. And I have to keep this in my head, race first, because if not, if all our women decide, well, you know what, we're going to the white race, then that's going to defeat the purpose of race first, in my eyes.
My dad don't have a college education. I don't even think he have a high school education. Guess what? He owns a mechanic shop and he have several rental properties. So I do agree with you totally. Everyone do not have to have a college degree to be great.
It takes time to get places. So when you're talking about 20 and 23-year-old men, I mean, we have to put things in real perspectives now. according to science, they say women mature quicker than men.
Yes.
So you know that men at the age of 23 are not as mature or as steady minded as women at that same age. So,
But I wasn't
mean,
only comparing it to another woman. I'm comparing it to other races, a white man, an Asian man, a Puerto Rican man. I'm not just comparing it to, that number, that age, a man, a younger black man versus a younger black female. Okay. So I went to Greece Olympia High School. It's a predominantly white school, right? And coming from Jamaica, we had to wear uniform. Everything had to be uniformed. Here, could wear your clothes, jeans, sneakers, everything. Now, I graduated in 2000. And back in them days, everybody come in with their new Jordans, with their this, with their that, and they will drill the white boy that shoes looked it like it was running over. But then years to pass, the same white boy with his shoes running over, has his house, his cars, and everything like that. A lot of time, black women and men, because we do it as well. You know what I mean? Like we tend to make the wrong decision and to look at stuff like, they secure themselves. They don't care about clothes and fashion and how they look. I'm not saying you're not supposed to take pride in how you look and want to look good and to have nice things, but you have to have variety. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we don't, and that's with both men and the female as well.
that's a matter of upbringing. See, that's a matter of upbringing. That's a matter of how the parents are raising the children, and that's why I said like this thing is deep because like children they grow up to be a certain way, and it's usually is based off the way they're being taught from what they see from
Right.
their parents.
Right.
So if you're talking about people that as African Americans, like a lot of us, we do look at material things and we worship material things and not worship good things or things like most black people got a cell phone bill but don't have life insurance policies, right? That's realistic. Most black people do not have life insurance policies
Or health insurance.
or health insurance, but they pay a cell phone bill every month because our priorities are mixed up, right? So, but my whole thing is, I used to have my priorities messed up, so I understand. Because I was once a young, dumb black boy running around the same way, but eventually I got smarter and I got wiser. So
And no,
I
and,
think,
and you
What
did that on
age
your
did
own,
you
right?
start to
Did you
get
do
it
that? Did you
together?
do that on your own? Did you do that
yeah,
on
it
your
came.
own,
It,
or
it
someone
came. Well, it
made you
came with
change that way?
children. My children forced me. It became when I had to become a difference in being a man and being a father. And you got responsibilities as children and you have to raise your kids. So it makes you change. You know what I'm saying? But everybody learning curve is different. So everybody learn different at different paces. But my children what changed me. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. It was my children. My children
Around
is
what
what
age
changed
did that
me.
happen for you?
Say that again.
Around what age did that happen for you?
Oh, that was around 2015, 2005. That's when my first daughter. Yeah, around 2005. So I probably was like 20. I was probably like 26, 27.
Okay,
That was around
so
that range.
that's
You're in
that's
your
a
30s?
rarity in a black community. That's not what's happening with the average black man.
Right.
And you don't have to be dating him to know that or pick up on it.
I understand that, but my point is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, not to get y'all to understand, well, just to, I guess y'all understand it, but maybe overstand that, we are evolving. Like, I mean, I said something about this before. If you look at the age of the people today, right? If you look at like most of these children or the ages of the kids around this time now, they are coming from the crack era. I'm talking about as far as the first generation of children post the crack era, especially when you're talking about up north, when you're talking about in the inner cities. You have the 80s was the crack era. So 20 years from them, most of them children coming, their parents that was in the 80s and they having children. 20 years from that, you got 2000. And then, so that means the first generation of kids will be around 2010, 2015 on. So a lot of these people are first generation drug children. And that's real, man. It's not no excuse. If I actually were to sit down and put a diagram up, you would see this. So like, it's a lot of different things. There's no excuses. It's just that we have to understand our people, man. And if you are African American or African American sister, and you understand what we've been through all this time, give me that, baby. If you understand everything that we've been through, you will understand that you understand why the situation the way it is, and that we need to get out of this situation. But running to other races, I don't think is a way out. I don't know. I just have a problem with dating outside of my race. That's something that I have a serious problem with.
I don't agree with it at all. If you ask anybody that knows me very, very well, I'm totally against it. But what I'm saying is what I'm seeing, I cannot tell my daughter, hey, you got to go with this person. There's no, from what I see, I'm telling you, there's no, I wish I was a millionaire and I could pay you to just spend 2 days in this area. So, and I live in the suburbs, just go out and look. Like, it's just, it may be very north. The north may be very, very much different from the south.
I'm from Patterson, so I'm from up top. That's why I say I'm from Patterson. So
how old are you?
I'm 40. I'll be 40 my birthday, 39.
Okay.
I'm 39 right now.
Okay, I don't know, because I feel like we don't, because I 99% agree with you, but we're off with
And
you.
and the whole what I've been through, they need to break the ice. So who breaks the ice then? Because the chain just continue and continue and continue. The ice, you just need to break the ice.
Yeah,
you know,
and I
you
agree.
need to
And see,
break the ice.
That's what we're doing. We're ending this. I call it cycles. So we have to end them cycles so they don't get passed down to the next generation. So we are doing that, but everybody doing it at their own. That's why I hope y'all come on the show tomorrow, because we have financial Mondays. On Mondays we talking about financial literacy. We're pushing finances to the Black community, because this is a subject that we have to master. And with finances, I hate to say it, but finances and relationships go hand in hand. And all this is stuff that have to be corrected and fixed so we can move forward. Also, I think if Nabat would talk a little bit more, it's a community up north that he's a part of, wherein the brothers are doing particularly well. They're not in but I guess I don't know if Nabat's still up here, but he ain't really talking that much. But
yeah, I'm just listening.
I'm part of a community that I know the brothers they very educated and they doing good.
Yeah, family. So yeah, I agree with what the sisters are saying, man. Our solution is to get back to our original way of life. I think that and not only that, to which dealt with living of, for, and by each other. With that being said, the men, like I stated earlier, the men have a responsibility, to take care of our families and give them the best of the world. It is found in our way, Patarak, in our culture, and that's what we're striving our best to do. With that being said, we have to prioritize and really start looking at our people on a grander scale, and look at, like the brother stated earlier, we have to look at the condition that we're in today, and how do we actually correct that. One of the foundation and ways that we can do that is by understanding how it occurred in the first place. We became subjects. We became subjects of another people. We became colonized in mind. We became physically colonized, and we became subjected to certain conditions that we allowed to perpetuate. And now today we've been perpetuating these things against our own people, and this is where it needs to stop. So what we're saying is that we need to have our own land. We need to have our own properties. We need to have our own businesses. We need to have our own language, right? We need to have our own form of dress. We need to really start correcting the mental disabilities that we have amongst our people that keep us from living, living and thinking in our original way. And many of these components is exactly why the men today, and I might even want to speak about the women, because the point of this is, what is the role of the man? I'm not speaking about anything about the women. We can only take responsibility for what we know we have to do. So I'm not saying that we, the United Sabians, worldwide, or even up north here in the United States, I'm not saying that we have perfected anything or we have everything complete. What we're saying is that we have the solution. And the solution to that is relearning our original language, relearning our original culture, and start acquiring land. Like, for example, our nation has acquired lands in Trinidad for our people to begin to transition over. If you do want to remain in the United States, we also have territory down south, lands down south where we're trying to develop. So if you know construction builders, electricians, in your family, we want to start organizing our own to build communities for our own, and also so that we can employ our own brothers instead of being subjected, to this type of society where it makes it much more difficult for the men to provide. So it's like it's so many factors that we can look at, and I'm not really one that really want to get involved in and continuously bringing up where we are. It's about the solution. What we're going to do from here, and that's pretty much what I wanted to propose on that. We really want to get together and start organizing. That's what I propose that we do. Like I said, is start thinking in terms of industry, of being the business owner as opposed to being the employee, and of really working together with our own people, just like every other race does. But we have to have our own foundation. Start thinking in terms of governing ourselves, policing ourselves, all of these types of things. Once we start thinking on that level, we will begin to have platforms that we can fulfill and progress. If that makes sense, or if you understand where I'm coming from.
I understand totally, and I agree. And basically, some of what you said is what I said last night. It's exactly what I said. If anyone remember when we were talking about, becoming, more Black people becoming more successful lawyers, doctors, judges, owning properties, employing our own. I said it last night. You look in the Chinese race, you see all their faces in their restaurant. We don't do that with each other. So I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah, so I want to say, again, I'm a student teacher. We have our own language, we have our own culture. It dates back, to pre-dynastic ancient Egypt. It's African culture. We can learn it, and you can link with me on Facebook. This is my Facebook name. That's how you spell it in the back, Café Amunreye. But you can just call me brother in the back. And again, this is, we just need to link family. You know what I mean? That's really what it's all about. I really want to thank again the sisters for, voicing your viewpoints and, what you really had to say. I think that, everything was real and it's authentic. And this is exactly what we need to address and start moving forward on these things.
Katina, I would love to hear your point of view on what he just said. Do you agree with him?
Girl, I'm over here eating blackberries, okay? I'm gonna agree with everybody because they taste good. But I heard what he said, and yeah, I get it. I'm not as hard-headed as people think. I get it. I just hope people see my viewpoint when I say things. It's not out of anger. It might be a little irritation there, but I'm not angry. I'm just telling you what we see and do, and I respect what he said.
I do. I think everything that he says is what we need to make the change happen, to break the ice, to, as he said, don't, we're not carrying over that generation to generation. Like,
Right.
I do agree. Yeah.
I don't.
Brother in the back.
Yeah, right back, bro. How's it going?
Are there any, right back, Jamal? Are there any Sabians in Rochester, New York that they can link up with?
I'm not sure about the different boroughs or cities in New York, but I know we have it's definitely hundreds of Sabians throughout New York in general. So I would say like I say, link up with me on Facebook, and because I have over 5,000 friends on my friends list. Most of them are Sabians. So these are coming from Sabians in different continents, different cities, states. But we pretty much try to stay linked virtually. Physically, we come together on different occasions, different events for our people. Like, but ultimately, we just want to stay connected. So if I do come across anybody, I'll definitely be able to reach out to you to my Facebook. You know what I mean?
My thing is, we suffer from culture. We don't run away from our culture. The revolution starts in the home. How we raise our children. And then we reach out to our neighbors. You know what I mean? But it starts in the home first. And we're being something other than ourselves. We're being Europeanized. The sisters, the Lyndon Johnson situation with the housing, whatever, the welfare thing kind of destroyed us. And the crack situation that Seth Haru was talking about. But we can get back to our culture. Whether it's gods and earth, Europeans, anything that's, RBGs, anything, network with that community. I know we see the media, the game bangers, the drug dealers, the crackheads, the pimps, the players, right? That's out there. And it's always in the movies, on the media, right? Thrown out there in face. Get with like-minded people. Put yourself in that bubble. Read conscious books. Let your children read conscious stuff, conscious cartoons, conscious, things on TV. Put yourself in that bubble. We know it's a reality. We got coons out here. We got dummies out here, But don't let that override you, overwhelm you. You know what I mean? Put yourself around people like us, like we up here tonight, talking around like-minded people. Put yourself around like-minded people and be a community. Be a community. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, man, it was a beautiful. Go ahead.
I'll go up. I'll say I ain't interrupt the mic or nothing. Everybody got quiet.
It was a beautiful conversation, man. I think that growth is the only thing that can come out of this type of conversation is growth. Because I said earlier, either we all trying to build, so we can take the punches and grow with it, and it let us know as Black men that we got a lot of work that we need to do. That's basically the gist of what I heard. Is as Black men, we got a lot of work that needs to be done. And only thing I can ask the sisters to do is be patient. Be patient with us, and and just I say be patient and give us a chance. To make you feel proud. And it's on the Black man to fix the problem. But I think we all can work toward getting this goal together. And we have to, because at the end of the day, this is the next generation that we're fighting for. And we want to make sure we leave the next generation in good hands and make sure that, we do what the elders done for us. We want to just build upon what our ancestors done for us and the elders done for us so we can pass it on to them. And you know, we all moving, y'all. We're moving at a good pace. And trust me, it's a reason why we all on this show. Everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in chance. So everything happens for a reason. Everybody's here for a reason. The conversation that we're having is for a reason. The going back and forth, it's all for a reason. And as long as we can do this, and at the end of the day, still love one another and grow from the conversation, that's all we can ask for is growth. And I think that I heard y'all loud and clear. And you know, it's gonna make me go even harder to try to help fix the problems that I can try to help fix through the platforms that I have to reach out to people and try to help them, you know, if they want to be helped, you know, because a lot of times people don't like taking information from certain people, you know, so, you know, that's another barrier. But now I thank y'all and I appreciate y'all, and I really do. I really do. And I mean that. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all perspective. And I know, like Cam said, we know we got coons out here. You know, but I try not to give them no light. I try to give them no air to breathe. I try not to even mention them because I don't want to give them any type of hope or nothing in my paradigm, in my own life or my bubble that I'm in. They gets no play. They gets no shine. They gets no love. You know, in my eyes, they don't exist. So, and that's the way I move, you know, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's just the way I move. So with that, I want to give y'all the opportunity to close out like always. Let people know where they can find you. You know, give your final statements. And we're gonna do it again. Trust me. I'm up for doing it whenever. But tomorrow, I hope y'all can come up to the financial economic empowerment roundtable. That's what we call it, where we discuss is economics and you know, pushing financial literacy. So I'm gonna mute my mic so everybody can close out.
All right, I'm gonna go and say this. I'm Neb Unc Amin Ray. Y'all know Miss Cam, but on Facebook I'm Neb Unc Amin Ray. I enjoyed tonight's show. Happy Father's Day to everybody. That's listening, that's on the panel, whatever. Y'all don't want to miss tomorrow night. Financial literacy. That's powerful. I know Shay got business, you know. You don't want to miss that, Shay. I learned some things. The women was right in my perspective, and we were right, okay? But we're not against each other. We're really about problems and solutions, you know what I mean? So we had to speak about the problems, and that's what the sisters did. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need to air out these damn no good ass niggas, you know what I mean? So, yeah. It was a great show. I hope y'all can make it tomorrow night. I get off work tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. Send me the links to it. Say Haru, and I can send it to whoever want to come out tomorrow night. Peace, everybody. Wadu.
Peace is master. You always a great conversation. Always great hearing other people's perspective and just growing in general. Much love. And I'll be on tomorrow, but I'll be on late. I got a little business to take care of. But once I'm done, I'll be up here.
Peace. Go ahead, Shay.
Okay, this Shay, I definitely plan on tuning into more topics. And y'all could reach me on if it's Facebook, I'm on under Mainstream Recordings. And Instagram is mainstream_entertainment. For those who don't know, I'm on the music, in the music business. So I run a recording studio and I help run a lot of campaigns for a lot of the artists y'all see out there, as well as local artists.
Remember that, Say Haru. You know, Harold's daughter sing, man. She got her own thing going on, doing for years.
Yeah, Shay, can you put your Facebook name in the chat?
Okay, sure, no problem.
Yeah, most definitely. Brother in the back.
Oh yeah, my bad, family. I thought I closed out already. Yeah, so just look me up on Facebook, and I really appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to hearing from you again. Peace, Wadu.
Wadu. Katina.
I don't have any social media because Facebook has blocked me. I don't even know why, but I haven't been on social media since 2017, 16. So, but I tune in when I get my notifications. I tune in. I'm probably going to give you guys a break and not come up on the, not try to cause any chaos.
No, you're welcome. Listen, trust me.
I'm gonna watch from every time I go on here. My I feel exhausted. I just feel exhausted, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I got to do my little workout before I go to bed. But it's like mentally exhausting, but it's very informative. So I do tune in. I do tune in, and I do the like button. So I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, y'all go share that. Tell y'all friends about that, no? All y'all, Colette, Shay, everybody. Colette, gonna close out.
Yeah, man, it was a good show tonight. I enjoy everybody. Happy Father's Day again to everyone out there. And I have work tomorrow. So depending on what time y'all doing the show, I get out like at 5:30. So I normally get home around like 6:37. So if I do get to tune in, I'll probably run a little bit late or whatever, but I would love to. But it was great and I enjoyed tonight, and y'all have a blessed night and a happy Monday when it comes, because we know how Mondays are.
Sister Natasha. You probably asleep. Natasha.
Yeah, I'm thinking, it's probably like 5 o'clock over there, 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know.
Hey, Saru, you get that message from Shay and your
I'm looking right now.
She just sent it.
Put it in the chat.
She just put it in. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a business Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put my
Mainstream
regular
page.
Facebook under there too.
Okay, yeah, I'll lock you in Main Street. I got you. And I thank everybody. I thank all y'all for coming up here, because y'all took time out y'all busy schedule. I know it's other stuff that y'all could have did. So I really appreciate every last one of y'all for taking y'all time out and coming. Miss Katina and Colette, y'all can come. All y'all are always welcome. Let me give y'all a quick story. Me and Julie on the phone, we met like 5-6 years ago on social media, and me and her went at each other head for about 4 years straight on social media and became good friends after that. So trust me, I look forward to conversations and dialogue. And it's only making us stronger. It's not hurting nobody. It's only making us stronger. And I appreciate good dialogues. Trust me. So I hope y'all continue coming. I hope y'all continue adding on, bringing more topics, giving us stuff to look at from a different point of view, because I do have a bubble. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I made me a bubble on purpose, because the world is crazy, man. So but with that being said, I appreciate everybody. I love y'all, and we're gonna do it again. And y'all be safe, and peace out, man.
Peace.
Good night.